cancel culture is communist.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, March 28th, 2021. This is your award-winning Gimmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1333.
This is No Agenda.
Hoarding TP again and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where everybody's concerned, they're locking down Norway. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Man, we are too tight for this market. Let me tell you. So, it's on. I'm giving the warning to all slaves of Gitmo Nation right now. It's on. Toilet paper will be in short supply once again. Yes. You think the Suez Canal is nothing? It's just a joke?
Overseas, the traffic jam in the Suez Canal is getting more expensive by the hour. A ship the size of the Empire State Building is blocking the canal, costing the global shipping industry nearly $10 billion every day. Satellite images show the container ship after it ran aground. It's wedged against the side of the canal, blocking more than 200 ships. Crews are trying to refloat the ship, but that's proving to be harder than expected. It could take weeks to finally move it.
The traffic jam in the Suez Canal could lead to another toilet paper shortage here in the U.S. Yeah. A company that produces the wood pulp needed for toilet paper warns a shortage of shipping containers could cause a delay in product shipments.
Now, this is ABC News, so you never know if it's true or not, but we do have producers in the business. We had them all over the show a year ago when we first started losing toilet paper. So we'll find out if that's true or not. But I think that this is being so underplayed, this Suez Canal thing. It may be the center of everything at the moment, is my
Suez
thinking.
Canal. Did you know that the number one disaster operation that fixes things like this is
the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Who
are those guys? Did you know any of them? Friends?
I know many of them. Yeah, that's a huge industry. They're dredgers, and in fact, when we had,
it makes sense. I was in Rotterdam and there's a museum that shows those gates and how they work and all the rest of it.
The Delta Plan.
Yes. The hydraulic engineering and all the stuff they do in that country, because that's what they do to stay a country,
that's what we're
is
pretty good at it.
Phenomenal. I don't think people even have a clue about how astonishing that those engineers are.
Well, the Dutch were also called in for the BP oil spill, if you remember, to get the rig, to get whatever they could of the rig and to contain the oil. They dredge and they dig canals, and this ship was, in fact, destined for the port of Rotterdam. And they've been called in, so they'll be working on it. And all of this, according to CNBC, take that for what it's worth, will drive up some other things.
No exaggeration to say that this is a critical waterway. There's really no way to overstate how important the Suez Canal is. Wars have been fought over this waterway. It hosts about $3 billion in freight every single day. About 50 ships move through here, and it's been 48 hours since it's been blocked by this ship, which is actually one of the largest container ships in the world. And now just today, we've heard from the head of that Japanese company that owns the ship. They're saying that there's going to be a Dutch and Japanese salvage team that's going to be appointed to work with local authorities to try to get this ship back on the move. Yesterday, we heard some rumblings that the ship had been partially refloated. It turns out that's not the case at all. It's still very much blocking the Suez Canal. Now, as far as markets are concerned, the prevailing wind right now that's buffeting oil indices is still the coronavirus. That hasn't changed. The lack of demand for oil because of shutdowns and lockdowns throughout the world still means that the price of oil is going to be depressed a little bit. Even though yesterday we saw the price go up just a little bit, it seems as though this hasn't yet really had an effect on oil prices, at least not on the global level. That could change in the coming days. Once we hit the weekend, once it becomes clear, if it becomes clear, that this is going to be lasting for days or weeks rather than hours, we could actually start to see knock-on effects in global markets.
It is really quite an important thing.
Yeah.
And And
I think at the last time the count was over 360 ships are backed up now.
Yes, because there's an average of 50 a day go through
I have to make a few corrections.
Okay.
That part of the Suez Canal, there's no parallel canal. That's it. That's at the southern part of the canal. If you look at it, you can zoom in on the Google Maps and see the whole thing. And there's a big giant lake where a lot of the ships going south are all backed up. They're all parked in there.
Yeah.
So there's no bypass of this thing. It's clogged the whole thing. The Evergreen it had that ship. That's an Evergreen ship that was leased, not sold to the Japanese. It's Japanese under Japanese ownership at the moment.
Yep.
That ship is less than 2 years old. It's about 2 years old. It's one of the newest of the very few ships that size. The size of the Empire State Building.
Wow.
It's a pretty big thing.
Big
and
ship.
now they're trying to figure out how it got cocked like that. They say it was a windstorm, a sandstorm.
Well, I have some info. One of our producers is married to Sir Bird Dog of Glenray, who works in this industry on the ships. He's off the coast of Morocco. His career has I'm reading now from her note, his career has put him in the chair next to many, many experienced and seaworthy captains from around the world. It is agreed that too many things would have to go wrong at the same time for a ship of that size to be, quote, blown into its current position by a 30-knot wind. The narrative will continue to be the wind did it. It's Trump's fault, and of course the continual terror campaign. But a ship that size has two captains. The thrusters, stern and or bow, would both have to be malfunctioning at the same time. So here's someone who's used to sailing these and says, something else had to have happened. We have many analysts who have given us all kinds of different ways to look at it, the ownership, who would be liable, because this thing will probably have to be given up just for the insurance money alone. There's going to be a huge international mess. But when I see this, the one thing that keeps hitting my mind, and let's just say there's foul play, this is a Belt and Road promotion. They have the trains running. They can get from China to Europe on the trains. And I'm just waiting to see the messaging. And there's a lot of weird China messaging. All of a sudden, COVID is not important at all. The mainstream press does not care about COVID. They're all pointing towards North Korea all of a sudden. Now we know it's Build Biden Back Better. So, okay, we get all the Obama stuff back. We get an Egyptian man who had white morality killing people. That was a true lower third on CNN. And I'm just thinking, is somehow the whole point to stir up some shit, and then all of a sudden China emerges and they have some solutions? I find it all very, very coincidental. I know you have a lot of Biden stuff, but I have 3 examples. I think it's MSNBC, CBS, NBC, maybe a CNN in there, all commenting on the press conference, which I know you're going to cover, and what was not asked.
To me, the big takeaway is the fact that it goes back to COVID. It's the only piece of news he intended to make, and he made it. There wasn't a single question on it, which tells you what other thing, Lester? There's clearly not any negative questions to ask. A press corps asks you about challenges. They don't necessarily ask you about things that are going well.
Bear that in mind. Everything's going well.
COVID's going well right now for him.
One big takeaway that I had from this press conference is what we weren't talking about. And that was his response to the pandemic. And that's because the entire time he's been in office, he has been messaging about what he's been doing, about the response, about the facts and figures that show, according to our very own CBS polling, that people are satisfied with how he's doing. And so that is something he did not have to answer much about. In fact, he was the one, as you mentioned, who controlled the messaging to say, hey, not only did I reach my goal, but now I'm setting a new one with regard to the vaccine.
You are hearing press news models covering up covering up the fact that they weren't allowed to ask questions, that it wasn't in the script, and they're really saying the American public had no interest in it. That's why we didn't ask any questions.
It did not escape notice, I think, Michael, that there were no questions on the coronavirus pandemic facing this country right now. Our colleague Chuck Todd made the point that oftentimes, and I know this from having been a former White House correspondent, you ask the president questions about things that are not going well. You ask the question about the challenges. What does it say to you about sort of where the American people are, that is how things went today and how the president is handling it?
Notice how they represent themselves as representatives of the American people, because the American people had no questions, so we didn't have any questions.
It says, Hallie, that after this trauma of this last year with over 500,000 American dead, others dead around the world, we're in a situation, who could have dreamt a year ago that we'd be in a situation where not one question asked about the pandemic?
John, isn't this a classic case of tell all the boys in the newsrooms to focus elsewhere except on the border and COVID and everything else?
Well, the border thing is a disaster, which is becoming more apparent as people like Ted Cruz go down there to do publicity stunts.
Hey, AOC did it. Ted might as well do it too.
Yes, exactly. It's the same shoe on the other foot is what we're seeing. What's his name? Who's the
Chuck
guy?
Todd?
Was it
Chuck Todd?
Chuck Todd.
Mm-hmm.
I just call him Todd.
Chuck Chip.
He was pathetic. He comes out and says, there's no real reason to ask these tough questions because everything's going so well.
Right?
Is pretty much what he concluded.
Yeah.
And that was in fact, I think you even mentioned that in the newsletter. It's really, these guys have just given up, or they're just getting money from the Democrat Party. I'm not absolutely sure why they're so lame about this, but that press conference was a disaster, which we'll play those clips later, obviously. I'm going to play them now.
I have two clips that'll just kind of, that are international type news clips that came up, which just cannot be ignored as somehow, China is the common factor here. And this was North Korea, which, after complete silence, you never even saw Kim Jong-un after President Trump stepped across the border to say hi. He was gone. His sister was in charge. She's gone now. I guess Kim Jong-un is back. Not that we've seen anything. We just see scary composite pictures of him and tanks and missiles and
B-roll.
Yeah, B-roll. And this is Good Morning America.
That breaking news, North Korea launching...
breaking news!
That breaking news, North Korea launching 2 ballistic missiles overnight, stepping up tensions with the U.S. in its first real test of the Biden administration. Our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, she is tracking this for us. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Robin. This is the first time North Korea has launched ballistic missiles in a year, and it is a clear violation of UN Security Council resolutions and follows the launch of 2 cruise missiles over the weekend. The 2 short-range ballistic missiles traveling nearly 300 miles, falling into the Sea of Japan. Japan calling the launches a threat to peace and security as they prepare for the Olympics. This is the first significant test of the Biden administration after years of the Trump administration failing to make any progress in the denuclearization of North Korea, even after those well-publicized summits. And it comes after testimony from a top U.S. commander who said North Korea's achieved alarming success in its quest to threaten the U.S.
A top U.S. commander shall not be named.
A top U.S. commander who said North Korea's achieved alarming success in its quest to threaten the U.S. homeland with nuclear-armed ICBMs, and they may resume those testing of larger missiles. The Biden administration says it is committed to diplomacy.
Yeah, I don't understand that it's based on nothing. I don't even know if they actually launched missiles. And what the hell was that sad-ass sound effect they were using? What is this?
Breaking news. Correspondent Martha Raddatz.
She's tracking
this.
That's not a missile.
Good morning, Martha.
Here, listen.
Good morning, Robin. This is the first time North Korea has launched ballistic missiles in a year, and it is a clear violation of UN security.
No, lady. This is the sound effect. That's the one you want. If you want to scare people. Okay, so magical North Korea with unnamed top military officials saying, oh, yeah, breaking news, missiles. And then over on CNN, they had an interview with the former CDC director, longtime CDC guy, Robert Redfield.
Oh, yeah, this is actually quite funny.
Here's the NBC report about it.
The race to vaccinate comes amid a growing debate over the origin of COVID. Former CDC Director Robert Redfield now says he believes the virus came from a Chinese laboratory.
I am of the point of view that I still think the most likely etiology of this pathogen in Wuhan was from a laboratory, escaped. Other people don't believe that. That's fine.
Dr. Fauci says many disagree.
The alternative explanation, which most public health individuals go by, is that this virus was actually circulating in China, likely in Wuhan, for a month or more before they were clinically recognized.
The WHO could weigh in next week.
Oh yeah. No. He's agreed. He actually just there agreed with what Redfield said and made it sound like he disagreed.
It was also a switchback.
Okay, let's listen again.
For a month or more.
A little more, hold on.
That this virus was actually circulating in China, likely in Wuhan, for a month or more before they were clinically recognized.
The WHO could weigh in next week as we learn from the past in hopes of protecting the future.
The interview itself that Sanjay Gupta did, I'd like to share it with you because it's a little long, so 2.5 minutes. But they package this, they put in scary music. It's Sanjay Gupta, all kind of like, with an intro that has, it's difficult for him because he so trusted Robert Redfield, and now this guy is saying something counter to any official narrative, and it's CNN. Why are they even airing this? This is what I don't understand. What is the mission? This is not because of news. Any idea?
Well, I think this is all part of the Great Reset. And the Great Reset is not.
Yeah. I agree. Okay.
It's not to reset. I think we've missed the point on this thing. It's the Great Reset is to reset to pre-Trump. It's not to reset to a new world order or anything else. That's already underway. In fact, it was underway and doing well until Trump came along and screwed things up.
Okay. How about this? The new world order is like a ratchet, and we just had to go clickety-clickety-click back four clicks and ratchet back up again.
That would be one way of looking at it.
Okay.
But the point is that the Great Reset is to reset, back to pre-Trump. That's why the North Korea thing is we're trying to reset that. It sounds like it to me. This missile, they sent up some missile, went 300 miles. So what?
Yeah.
It's like,
it didn't even sound
nothing.
good.
It's like,
didn't even sound cool.
Well, besides that,
it's important.
But all these things seem to be just trying to reset things, get back, back on track, back on course. On track, the way it was when Obama was pushing us in that direction, and Hillary should have been elected, and we'd all be running under some international flag. So the United States wouldn't even exist, perhaps.
So, should there be some true plans of a globalist, and of course, if you look around, you can see there's lots of plans. But if there really was some big plan, it was so big it seems like it couldn't be adopted for this 4-year Trump period. So they can't improvise. They have to go back and start with Afghanistan, get the oil from Syria.
They can't improvise. Good point.
They can't improvise. And it may be because the plan is too big, or there's no way to communicate, or maybe it's a 100-year plan. Like, trust the plan. See? It's like Q. Trust the plan. So, why this is now happening with Sanjay Gupta and Redfield is mysterious, but I'd like to listen.
Dr. Redfield, when we sat down to talk, he wanted to start at the beginning, the origins of this virus, what he believed actually transpired.
Notice he wanted to start at the beginning.
Take a listen.
Ooh.
If I was to guess, this virus started transmitting somewhere in September, October in Wuhan.
September, October.
That's my own view. It's an only opinion. I'm allowed to have opinions now. I am of the point of view that I still think the most likely etiology of this pathogen in Wuhan was from a laboratory, escaped. Other people don't believe that. That's fine. Science will eventually figure it out. It's not unusual for respiratory pathogens that are being worked on in a laboratory to infect a laboratory worker.
So just what is the package, man?
It is also not unusual for that type of research to be occurring in Wuhan. The city is a widely known center for viral studies in China, including the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which has experimented extensively with bat coronaviruses.
It is a remarkable conversation I feel like we're having here because you are the former CDC director and you were the director at the time this was all happening.
For the first time, the former CDC director is stating publicly that he believes this pandemic started months earlier than we knew, and that it originated not at a wet market, but inside a lab in China.
These are two significant things to say, Dr. Redfield.
And that's not implying any intentionality. It's my opinion, right? But I am a virologist. I have spent my life in virology. I do not believe this somehow came from a bat to a human. And at that moment in time, the virus that came to the human became one of the most infectious viruses that we know in humanity for human-to-human transmission. Normally, when a pathogen goes from a zoonotic to human, it takes a while for it to figure out how to become more and more efficient in human-to-human transmission. I just don't think this makes biological sense.
So in the lab, do you think that process of becoming more efficient was happening? Is that what you were suggesting?
Yeah, let's just say I have coronavirus that I'm working on. Most of us in the lab, we're trying to grow a virus. We try to help make it grow better and better and better and better and better and better.
Gain of function research.
We can do experiments and figure out about it. That's the way I put it together.
It's a pretty extraordinary conversation and a little glimpse of what we revealed sort of within these couple of hours. I should point out the World Health Organization calls the lab leak theory unlikely, and Chinese officials have started increasingly pointing to a multiple origin theory, saying that this pandemic may have started in multiple places, even around the world, including U.S. military labs. That's unsubstantiated, but that's sort of the back and forth that's happening right now. We still don't know, a year later, exactly how this pandemic started.
Well, there you go. This is the fourth time I've heard the clip, and I finally get it. Redfield is coming out so that they can launch the multiple origin theory and absolve China of all guilt.
Well, a couple of things that should be noted. I don't think that's what's going on, personally. I think that we're trying to pin it on China, and we've got something's going on behind the scenes, and it's Chinese weren't cooperating, and so we're going to try to pull this stunt.
This is a blowback. This is getting them back for Alaska.
And then China comes out with the multiple theory
as a paré. Their paré is multiple.
Well, that's
origin.
because it's quite likely that what is going on is that this was developed at Fort Detrick, which was illegal in this country to work on chimeras.
And they moved it to Wuhan.
And it went over to Wuhan. If we're going to stick Wuhan with it, then they're going to stick us with it. And so that was just to throw up the flag. Look, you want to play that game? Let me just say you might. Hello, number 23. Look at file number 23. Now, as you recall, when this whole thing began, the French Nobel Prize-winning doctor in medicine.
Oh, yes. Is he dead yet? We haven't heard from him, have we?
Well, he's been marginalized years ago as a crackpot.
Yeah.
And he has a couple of crackpotty type theories that could be true about cellular memories.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out with it, looked at the breakdown of the gene and genome and said, oh, it's obvious what this is. And he nailed it. He says it was developed in a lab as a multi-purpose possible a way to get an AIDS vaccine to work because it's got an AIDS. It's got AIDS in it.
HIV.
How did that happen?
HIV. It has
bats.
HIV, not AIDS. It has
HIV. I'm sorry. AIDS is different. Yeah. HIV. It's got an HIV
element
marker.
Element. Yeah.
And he's made the comment that this thing is going to have it's going to fall apart because these things aren't natural. It's an unnatural product, and it'll just fall apart, and there'll be all these variants, which is what he didn't use the word variants, but that's what he indicated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at the end, it's just going to be a mess. And he was poo-pooed immediately by the community, but not in any official way. As you remember, again on this show, we pointed out that the Nature Medicine magazine had a letter to the editor that everybody thought was a research paper, poo-pooing the French doctor's theory, and the news media, because it was during Trump, picked up on it and spread it all around us. Bull crap. No, it came from a bat. And then a year later, as we now recognize, and now we're bringing these guys in, it's been a year, and no one's ever found an animal with this in it naturally. So this is bull crap about the bats or that cute little arcanid. What is that thing? The
pangolin?
Pangolin, my favorite animal, the pangolin. They blame that poor little pangolin.
Yeah, even South Park blamed the pangolin.
Pangolin.
Well, I like that.
It's the only mammal that actually has scales.
I'm going to give you this one for sure, because the thing that bothered me is not what Redfield said, but how CNN packaged it. They had the scary music in the background. They even had the B-roll and the voiceover of Wuhan. So effort went into this. It wasn't just, I had a sit down with the former CDC director. So maybe he was even called in to do this. And it was a chicken shit Biden/Obama kind of way to signal back to the Chinese, don't you dare. You embarrassed us in Alaska. You better be careful, because we have Sanjay Gupta on our team. How about that?
Well, the embarrassment part, of course, didn't get out to the American public as
I disagree. Oh, my goodness.
Well, I remember, I'm talking about the American liberals.
That's what I'm talking about.
PBS. We played the PBS report.
You're right.
They soft-pedaled the whole thing.
You're right.
And by the way, I do have a clip.
But wait. I still want to observe Suez Canal as a possible Chinese thing, Belt and Road.
I have a couple of thoughts about that, too.
Let's do that.
I want to refer back to Rubicon, which is a show. People should go dig it up and watch. It's 13 episodes.
One season only. One season. They
killed it because they had to.
It was too good.
It was slow moving by any standard. Because it was intense. It was very intense, slow moving, but it was very good. And everything seems to be these intelligence agencies trying to do stuff so they can make money. And I'm looking at this whole thing as who's making money. That you can say the Chinese are behind some of it, but that ship is loaded to the gills with, I don't know, a couple
toilet
of
paper,
Chinese containers.
Your mom was so right.
My mom was right.
God bless your mom. She was right. The Chinese are stealing the toilet paper.
So I'm always thinking there's something else a little more superficial, just a nice stock market play that may have something to do with this. But
that would be oil. That would be oil. What CNBC pointed out right away. They said because
I like the way the CNBC guy says. He said, "Well, oil prices are going down." He says, "Did you guys?" I wish I could have stopped it, but the guy made the stupidest comment. He says, "Well, they don't think it's going to affect oil prices. In fact, they've been floating down, except when this happened, when it went up."
Here, this part
means that the price of oil is going to be is still the coronavirus.
That's what I like. He said the problem is still the coronavirus.
Is still the coronavirus. That hasn't changed. The lack of demand for oil because of shutdowns and lockdowns throughout the world still means that the price of oil is going to be depressed a little bit. Even though yesterday we saw the price go up just a little bit.
There it is.
Just a little bit. We need more. Can we get?
We need another ship, please. The oil has only gone up a little bit.
Now you know what they need.
Well, tell me.
You know what they need a fire.
Oh, the ship should be on fire.
Yes.
Oh, if that happens, then it was foul play for sure. But it's ripe and it's so easy to do. And it's toilet paper. Hello? Could it be any better to have a ship filled with wood pulp? I don't think so. Well done, G. Excellent. Put that in the book, man.
It's too late.
I don't.
Maybe the Dutch. No, be an accident with their welding. They'd be
one of those. No. The Dutch, their reputation. They would have to stake their reputation to do that.
Oh no, it wouldn't be the Dutch then. These weren't the Dutch. This was some cheap labor from Egypt or something. They were brought in to do some preliminary work.
We're already writing the news. It's great.
Yeah. No, it has to be somebody else. The Dutch have to fix it. You're right. The Dutch cannot. They have their reputation. They're not going to let that happen.
How about some Panamanian workers? Just throw that in there.
Panamanians always good for always good for a disaster.
Always good for a laugh.
Anything from Latin America. Yeah, these guys don't know how to weld. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, duh. Spot welding, not the Panamanian specialty. Sorry, boys. Oh my goodness! Do you remember when I was living at the castle in Belgium and that ship full of cars sank in the Channel, in the English Channel, and they had to cut it in pieces, and they cut right through the cars?
No, I don't remember this.
One of my helicopter flights, I think it was Captain Dean at the time, when I was still getting my license. And I had a huge photo zoom lens, and we flew out halfway across the channel to take. I actually sold one of those pictures. Someone saw it on my blog. It's like, I'll buy it for some publication. It was crazy. They saw these BMWs right in half, right along with the ship. They can do a lot. It's just it takes.
Those BMWs are now for sale on Craigslist.
It takes a little while to do that. Oh, fire! Good one, John. Good one. All right, we are from the future, so.
Fire.
Sadly, we've also been from the future on the vaccine and the push that it's getting for everybody to take this. There is strong evidence now that that worldwide, and we'll look at Europe because they've written some legislation now. There will be some requirement of either a vaccination, proof of vaccination, and from the way it's looking, that will have to be no older than 6 months because, booster, or a test within 72 hours. And the whole intent there is to give people the obvious choice that if you want to be a free person, you might as well get the shot because you're going to have to be doing very expensive tests. And so the propaganda is on, and it's hard. And I have 3 clips to share. Bono, Penelope Cruz, another cast of celebrities, and this is all part of the One Project. They always come out when there's something to do, part of the One Project. And they have teamed up with ABC, I want to say, or is it Disney? No difference, really. They've teamed up for an animated series called Pandemica. And Pandemica is truly...
that'll pack them in.
It's a cartoon, and I have a trailer here, just a 30-second trailer. What you're seeing is animated, a couple eating at a restaurant, kind of on a terrace outside, and you're seeing them in the distance, and we're from the point of view of this army of purplish-orange coronavirus balls with the spike proteins, and they have faces, and they're going... And as you hear the music crescendo, they just rush towards these 2 people like they're going to attack them.
Uh-oh. That's a lot of needles.
Here they go. Charge! They're running towards these people. They're going to get them.
The vaccine isn't everywhere. This pandemic isn't going anywhere. Join our fight to end the pandemic.
Yeah, we need the vaccine everywhere. Now, I'm not sure if this next one is a Disney production. They're using video from The Lion King, and the voices are professional. It's very highly produced, and it's really, the message here is, it doesn't matter if you are left or right, we all need to fight. We all need the vaccine.
I'm gonna go get my vaccine and get back to my prime. Well, I've never seen a vaccine made in quite so little time. We're gonna plan insane events like we couldn't do before. Once everybody gets their shots, the 20s, they will roar. Thus far, a rather uninspiring thing. Oh, I just can't wait for vaccines. Well, vaccines are completely unnatural. If you think no more need to stay home. Now, I did my own research. No more isolation. With a space. No more need for face masks. Oh, it's all a bloody with immunization. Oh,
okay, you get the idea. I don't think you want to listen to the whole song, or do you?
No, it's pretty bad.
But in the UK, oh, wow, this was a really good one with multiple layers. The longest running soap opera in the United Kingdom is EastEnders. When I lived there, even I got into it. Everybody knows the characters. Some of these people have grown up with the characters on EastEnders. They're, for 60 years, maybe even longer. It's daily, and it's such a culture. And I learned this while reading about power grids during our Snowvid apocalypse here, that right after EastEnders is over in the United Kingdom, during the credits, they have to buy more capacity, more power from France, because that's when all of England turns on the tea kettle. And it's like all of a sudden 3 more megawatts is needed just right after EastEnders.
Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like something you'd like to promote as a concept to promote EastEnders.
Well,
look how popular we are.
Well, they had that. They were in the actual. This was a documentary where they were in the grid operator, and they showed what happened, and they switched. So I think that's true. But what's going on with this particular episode? It's the local shop, which everyone knows the shop owner, and she sells newspapers, cigarettes. It's the morning. Then we have one of the elder actors who's an old black man, and you'll see why he's very happy. And then there's another character who I don't think is a regular at all. I've never seen her, and she shows up. And this is, of course, about vaccines.
Good morning. What a wonderful day.
Not in my house. Oh, kids, who'd have him? You won the lottery?
Oh, yeah, man. You could say that again. Got my second vaccination?
Already? Oh, good for you.
Good for you.
I'm due my first one later today. I'm calling it my superpower. Make me that bit more invincible.
Science is a wonderful thing, you know.
Oh, rather you than me. Oh, don't tell me. You're one of them anti-vaxxers.
So someone shows up here, and she says, "Oh, I'm not going to get that." Oh, don't tell me. One of those anti-vaxxers.
Oh, but you must admit they pushed it through too quick. Lab rats. That's what we are. No, I ain't having any of that rubbish pumped into me. 20 me fags, please. Dolly Parton, she can say what she likes. I mean, normally I'm with her all the way, but who knows what it's going to do to us in 5-10 years' time.
Well, let me tell you what I do know. Last year, I was lying down in a hospital bed gasping for breath. Thought it was all over.
Notice that we now have the guy who had COVID, got the vaccine.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. COVID, man, will kill you faster than them fags.
Some of the best scientists have worked on this, but you reckon you know better? How's that PhD working out for you, Karen? Yeah, well, I've got plenty of time to think about it, you know.
And notice they named the character Karen.
They're much younger than you. Oh, well, you want to worry about getting to my age if you carry on thinking like that? After everything we've been through this year, can't help some people.
And so the anti-vaxxers are dismissed as just people who will die, because they're not taking the vaccine.
There's a lot of mixed messages in there that weren't very effective.
What did you not like?
Well, I don't like, for one thing, if you're going to market something, you don't introduce the counter argument in such a way that it actually makes some sense in context. And when she said, it's just a thing you don't do. Americans would never do this.
Right.
And one of the aspects was when she says we're just lab rats, which is an imagery thing. And you once you push that imagery into the consciousness, it's very difficult to get it out. And when you're trying to promote one side of the argument and then you push this imagery in there, I think it's just counterproductive. I think it was mixed messages. And then they have the black guy, which is a frowned upon race in the UK because they're racists over there. Not in every sense of the word that we are. It's a different sort of thing. It makes the guy look like, it's like, well, this guy already had COVID and he's getting the shot. He already went through it. He says it'll kill you faster than the cigarettes, but you're not dead. I mean, the whole thing was very poorly orchestrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't disagree, but they did it anyway, and you could see they threw it all in. We've been doing it over here, but we've been doing it on our shows, and I didn't get any clips, but I've thought about it a couple of times because they're kind of tedious in context. But we make it kind of casual. It's like, oh, you got the vaccine? Oh, good. I've been meaning to get the vaccine. I'm probably going to go to this morning. And they just leave it. They leave it at that. They don't have this kind of debate where you have introduction of counter arguments. It's just pretty much like, yeah, everyone's doing that. Let's go do that. Now, there was something in there that leads me to my clip that I've been trying to sneak in here, which was the superpower. The guy's superpower. Yes, superpower.
Now, you had an anecdote last show.
Invincible.
I'm now convinced that we're dealing with some sort of milieu issue.
Okay.
I want to play for you Colbert. And this is, Colbert had Dana Carvey on.
Whoa.
And I'm leaving the Carvey part long. The part I want you to listen to is at the beginning, but Carvey is now doing a Fauci that's quite good.
Oh.
He's also trying to do a Biden, but his Biden's not that good. My wife thinks it's good. I didn't think so. So I'm not going to play a bunch of Dana Carvey material, but I just let it because it makes sense in this clip. But listen to now after remembering what you said on the last show, listen to this clip.
Are you inoculated?
I got jabbed twice. I took it twice.
So and 2 weeks since your last jab?
Pretty much. I'm going to say yes.
You're immortal. You're immortal then. Nothing can kill you at this point.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really blame my friend Dr. Fauci, but let me tell you something. There's variances. Look, I didn't want this job. It was a circus. I agree. It was Burks, Trump, and me. Guess who's still standing? Me. Okay.
You're right. The immortal, the invincible, the superpower. This is what you get when you're just a headline reader. And that's so, oh my gosh. Regardless of all the data, all the information, everything that's been said, all the evidence, all the reports like this one.
Vaccine question. Are the side effects for the Johnson & Johnson different or worse from the mRNA vaccines?
Well, we don't know because, again, when you look at things like
then
side
why
effects,
are you reporting?
Have to be able to compare apples to apples. And obviously the populations are different, but most importantly, the technology between these vaccines are different. Moderna, Pfizer use the mRNA technology. J&J uses a viral vector, kind of more traditional technology. Again, everyone will have a different response. We have heard anecdotally that these mRNA vaccines do pack a punch when it comes to these expected side effects, headache, arm pain, fever, chills, body aches. And that may be, we don't really know yet, because that type of technology is that much more effective at priming the immune system. But bottom line, people should expect some side effects, whatever vaccine they get.
This is the story. Now remember,
they just make this stuff up as they go along.
Well, remember, the conventional wisdom was, oh, it hurts? That's because it's working. It's working when it's super painful.
Well, you also have the clips of, oh, you got COVID after you got the shot? That means it's working.
I have some quick notes from producers. All of them will remain anonymous. I'm a physician in Virginia. During a follow-up, I asked my patient how his health has been since his last visit with me. He said he and his wife were both hospitalized with COVID in December and both got their vaccinations in the past 2 months. His wife getting both doses of Pfizer, and he got J&J. Well, she went to the emergency room for stomach issues. They did a test, and she was positive for COVID. He's going to get tested as well. How does this work within 2 months of getting the vaccine? My brother, a different producer, retired fire lieutenant paramedic, registered nurse, and sister-in-law, registered nurse. These are people who would think they would know. Both caught COVID a few months back. His was like the flu. Hers required hospitalization due to shortness of breath. She still has lingering brain fog and memory issues. And they both got vaccinated after recovering from COVID. I told them they didn't need a vaccine since they would have developed antibodies. My sister-in-law said the immunity will only last a few months. So that is interesting. If the medical community is now thinking that the immunization only lasts a few months. And then this may be a tip from an anonymous Brazilian. Brazil did not sign any contracts with Pfizer, Moderna, or AstraZeneca, as the big companies were not willing to add any responsibility clauses, and I presume Brazil didn't want to give up their military bases to Pfizer as collateral, because that's what they were asking for. CoronaVac is the vaccine broadly available in Brazil, which is Chinese, and according to our producer, it uses the inactivated virus. It's not mRNA or viral vector. I have two pharmacist friends that helped develop the CoronaVac vaccine clinical trials. They reported that it has been smooth sailing with no big concerns. I personally have more than 20 people, including my grandmother, that had the CoronaVac vaccine, absolutely no side effects and no positive test results. Brings up a question about the Chinese vaccine. They may have a good one, actually.
Well, they have a dozen of them. They have a lot of vaccines. So, and so do the Indians.
Yeah.
So we don't know what, I mean, I didn't know they even had one of these. I thought all theirs were just stolen from our, I know they stole a lot of our technologies, including the mRNA.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that they had a.
This is also, vaccine. So there's a wiki page on it. CoronaVac, also known as the Sinovac COVID-19, developed by Chinese company Sinovac Biotech. And they did clinical trials in Brazil, Chile, Indonesia, Philippines, and Turkey. Well, let's keep an eye on Brazil. Let's see how they do.
Well, if you notice, the reports coming out of Brazil is it's out of control.
I missed that. A reminder.
Yeah, I was in the newsletter. I had a
that's right. No, that's right. You're right.
NPR is pushing it. Pushing the idea that Brazil's out of control.
Well, you know why? Because they have to discredit this vaccine.
Well, I didn't think about that vaccine being the target, because I just thought they were going to target Brazil because Bolsonaro is a guy that the Brazilian press hates. As bad as the American press hated Trump, the Brazilian press, I can assure you, because I know plenty of people down there that work at Old Globo, that they hate this guy to an extreme, and so they're trying to smear him if they can. Well, I have a note I want to read from Norway, because things are heating up there.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. I don't know if you got this note or not.
Yeah, I did. I'm glad you have it.
There's a boots-on-the-ground report, as well as a link to the new press release from the Norway government. After having record results for 2020, despite the corona insecurity, the seriousness is finally dawning on us. Up until now, there hasn't been much change to our workday, except for getting a couple of pocket-sized hand sanitizers, as well as one of those barcode scanner thermometers, and a sanitizer dispenser. We haven't really suffered from the craze. I like the word craze. The corona craze. Well, that's no good, apparently. Today, they said, when we return after Easter, we will be required to wear either a face mask or a visor shield.
No.
If you opt for a mask, they expect you to use at least 3 a day. One per work instance.
What?
Luckily, new ones are handed out upon request. I guess they're free. And I don't consume any sort of news media. I wasn't aware, but suspected something new had happened in the world. Thankfully, the U.S. Embassy sent me an email regarding the updated restrictions. Here are a few snippets. We know that these measures will once again affect jobs, and he goes on. New recommendations. We recommend no more than 2 guests in your home. You should limit. This is like a year after this whole thing began. This is new.
Right.
You should limit social contact to the greatest extent possible. Stay home. We recommend visit shopping centers and department stores only if only in your home municipality. New national regulations based on COVID-19. Serving alcohol is prohibited across the entire country.
What?
What the hell's that got to do with anything?
Wow.
Fitness centers may only be open for residents of the municipality. In other words, they're locking down after this whole thing is come and gone, as far as I can tell. What the hell's going on there? Never has a really good explanation for it.
Well, what I see is the slow boil is being turned up. And I think it was about a year ago this time when we were going into our 2-week flatten the curve. We're now on day 560. 2 weeks
flattening the curve.
2-week flatten the curve. And I think that at the time we said people, this lockdown is going to be so bad, and we thought it was going to be a couple weeks, that people will be dying for the vaccine. Shoot me up, Bill Gates. Please shoot me up. So now, whether you've had it or not, it does seem like the establishment is working on control measures on this they don't have it for Ebola, but okay, we've got it for coronavirus, that you will either be forced to vaccinate or not welcome if you're not vaccinated. And I want to run down a couple of the different measures that are being proposed, some being put in place, notably New York City, but also colleges and universities. And this is an interesting case of Rutgers.
Rutgers University in New Jersey will now become the first known college to require students to be vaccinated before returning to campus in the fall.
I think that's a great idea because we've had over the last year about 500,000 college students get infected, and there's been about 100 deaths linked to outbreaks on college campuses.
So the faculty is not being required to have the vaccine to return to work, and that is indeed because of federal law. And I've put that in the show notes again. If it's not an approved product, it cannot be mandated legally. Now, even Alan Dershowitz, I disagree with the constitutional lawyer that he says that the state absolutely has the right, and the state, I mean the federal government, to plunge a vaccine into your arm. I dispute that. But maybe we'll learn a little bit going back to Sanjay Gupta, who has now been tasked, I think, to help shepherd this in.
Professor Emily Largent. She's an assistant professor of medical ethics and health policy at the University of Pennsylvania. And she's also an assistant professor of law.
So there's the credentials. Now let's talk about FDA approval, mandates, etc.
These vaccines that we're talking about so far have all become available under emergency use authorization. So they're not fully approved. Emergency use authorization is good. It means that the benefits outweigh the risks in this situation. But how does that impact the potential ability to mandate the vaccine?
So this is where it becomes a legally murky area, especially with respect to employers mandating vaccination. That's an issue that's drawn a lot of attention because there have been some employers who want to go forward and require employees to get vaccinated. We've seen this with certain chains of long-term care facilities, for example. They've just told employees, you get the vaccine or you stop coming to work. And people have gone back and forth on whether or not that's appropriate because of exactly as you say, this emergency use authorization. So some people say we can't mandate things that aren't FDA approved, and for them that's very clear. But there is guidance from the EEOC to say that employers can mandate vaccination that doesn't draw a distinction between FDA approval and EUAs. And so there's another group of legal scholars that has said, actually, this is fine to go ahead and mandate vaccines at this point. So we don't know yet how this will work through the system, but I would say it's an ambiguous situation that we aren't sure yet.
Not sure yet. And we always have some academics who are saying, of course. You never hear that in science. There's always consensus on the science.
So I think the important thing when we talk about mandates is to be clear. It's not about holding somebody down and plunging the needle into their arm. It's about creating a system where there are penalties or consequences for going unvaccinated. And we have to think about what fair and proportionate penalties are. So
Okay. Now we're already on to the penalty part for you not wanting to be jabbed.
So there are some countries where you might actually be imprisoned if you don't get your child vaccinated.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is wildly inappropriate. But it might be the case that it's appropriate to say that you'll need to be quarantined for some period of time to make sure that you're not sick. It might be appropriate to say that you won't have access to school until you're vaccinated. It might be appropriate to have a small fine, but imprisonment would be much too punitive.
A small fine is okay, but yeah, now prison may be going a little bit too far. Isn't it also the case that you have to let people out of prison because of COVID? Maybe, I don't know. Can they go back in now? Or do they just have to be vaccinated? How about we need some kind of incentive.
The other way to try and get people vaccinated, instead of the stick, the carrot.
Or the donut. Yeah.
Or the donut, right. Yes, exactly.
Krispy Kreme just announced that they are getting involved in public health campaigning, and that people who bring in a vaccination card will be eligible for free donuts. So
that's science. It's so healthy.
It's a sweeter version than the carrot, I suppose.
So what about that, though? The idea that people are exploring these ways, including proposals to pay them. I've heard about this from some of the teachers in the Atlanta public schools here where I am. What do you think about that?
People have talked about paying $1,000 or even $1,500 to try to get people to be vaccinated. So I do have some concerns about that. We know that from behavioral economics, if you offer money to people, that it can actually sort of signal risk. So if somebody's already worried about taking the vaccine and then you offer them $1,500, it feels a little too good to be true, and they can actually start to feel like this is something risky that you're asking them to do. So we might entrench mistrust rather than addressing it.
Just up the ante.
So
make it $2,500. That'll take care of that.
Everyone has a price. Everybody has a price somewhere. New York has launched, and this is the one we got to keep our eye on, the Excelsior Pass. And there's no real demos. They have screenshots, but this is the pertinent part from, and it's from New York State, the Excelsior Pass, a free voluntary platform developed in partnership with IBM because they know how to track people, which utilizes proven secure technology to confirm an individual's recent negative PCR or antigen test result or proof of vaccination to help fast track the reopening of businesses and event venues in accordance with the New York State Department of Health. So again, I think this is, and they're launching it for business first. So for the businesses who want to make their customers feel safe, they'll be able to, and it's an app for both the scanner and for the QR code. Can easily be falsified. I just am tickled by the fact that it's IBM, and I sure hope your buddy, what's his name,
Edwin Black.
I sure hope he considers at least a follow-up essay about IBM's history of tracking human beings. They did the punch cards for the Jews.
In Germany.
In Germany.
Make sure they go to the right concentration camp to be killed.
That's right. Make sure they got the right card. Here is Spain. Galicia in Spain. It has just made COVID-19 vaccine compulsory. How big is it? That's got to be pretty small. Galicia. COVID-19 vaccine compulsory, fines of up to 60,000 euros for those who refuse it. And here is the EU. Now, one of our producers went through the proposed legislation. It's all linked in the show notes. Well worth a read. It's the EU vaccination passport regulation proposal. And it will be called the Digital Green Certificate, same as in Israel. So I don't know if IBM is going to continue with the big blue or not. It may be a complete competing system. But they say in their proposal it should not be preconditioned for the exercise of free movement. In fact, that's what most of this is about, is defining exactly how you should be able to move around freely if you do not want to be part of this program. And you can pretty much take a shit, and that's it. Vaccination certificates should not be preconditioned for the exercise of free movement. Persons who are not vaccinated, for example, for medical reasons, because they are not part of the target group for which the vaccine is currently recommended, such as children, or because they have not yet had the opportunity or do not wish to be vaccinated, must be able to exercise their fundamental right of free movement. Where necessary, they will be subject to limitations such as mandatory testing and quarantine/self-isolation. To the gulag with you. Notice that it's quarantine/self-isolation. Is quarantining not self-isolation in this case?
I think quarantining usually refers to some supervision.
Yeah.
And self-isolation refers to no supervision.
Member states shall issue the certificates in digital or paper-based format or both.
Hackers.
To facilitate free movement, to ensure that restrictions of free movement currently in place during COVID-19 pandemic can be lifted in a coordinated manner based on the latest scientific evidence available. An interoperable vaccination certificate should be established. So they want every country to have the same one. And I could keep on going on. But they plan this, and it's not just to get you back quicker, and they have the constitutional right to lock you up if you are suffering from an infectious disease. We discovered that when this show started in 2007, 2008, reading the protocols of the Lisbon Treaty. But the real problem is just the...
Yes, that's a good point. You should dig those up again. That's true.
Yeah, I told a Dutch politician that the protocols of the Lisbon Treaty, which is pretty much the basis for the European Union quote-unquote constitution, the police can kill you if you're running away from them, which is the funniest.
Yeah, well, it makes it easier in court.
But if people can be arrested and put into protective custody for a number of reasons, one of them is for any infectious disease. And at the time, we laughed and said, "Oh, you've got the flu." Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. I remember that very clearly, actually. And we did laugh at it. You got the flu, throw them in the slammer.
There you go. Here we are. We're from the future.
But we never thought it was going to go this
We never
far.
thought they would do it. Now, CBS News
What dummies.
CBS News is launching into the real problem in America, because if they weren't domestic terrorists and militia violent extremists and whatever other term we've come up for people who are unhappy with the establishment, well, let's just call them Republicans. Let's just call them anti-vaxxers, because they are going to ruin everything, and they're stupid, they're crazy, they're nut jobs. CBS News.
Take your masks off, guys. These rallies are held across Canada. These protesters are anti-mask, anti-vaccine, and COVID deniers.
Do you think COVID is a hoax?
Yes, I do, 100%.
Their claims debunked by experts. Still, they're spreading all over social media.
I'm sorry, it was CBC News.
Many people argue that this pandemic was a plandemic. A lot of it feels very planned to me.
We're going to build an entire army to stand up and say, not only no, but hell no.
Sherry Tenpenny is a prominent anti-vaccination advocate. She's hosted virtual boot camps, charging about $600 Canadian to share her theories and tactics. Right? We signed up and asked epidemiologist Colin Furness to weigh in. 3 themes emerge from this boot camp, and we've noticed them in our research too. 1, COVID isn't dangerous.
We've shut down the entire global economy over a flu virus.
COVID is dangerous. If everyone in the world got COVID, 50 million people would die. That is misinformation.
2, COVID vaccines are harmful.
This is genocide, people.
We've now inoculated millions and millions of people worldwide. We have not seen a jump in mortality.
3, governments conspired to create this pandemic.
It's a political agenda at the very top to take the entire global economy to its knees.
It's hard to find anything that governments around the world could possibly agree upon. It doesn't make sense.
There was also talk about vaccine passports, digital proof of the COVID-19 vaccination.
Any advice on what's going on with these vaccine passports?
Tenpenny's business partner says some hackers have told him they may try to forge credentials.
In the background, this is what all the hacker-cracker folks that are really pissed about this are working on.
Oh, good.
The idea that they might try and circumvent that actually, I think, represents a pretty serious public health danger.
Hunt told us he's not involved, nor does he support the hacking of vaccine passports. And Tenpenny said she stands behind her boot camp and makes no apologies for earning a living.
My intro made no sense. Sorry about that.
Okay, hold on. By the way, I want to give you a clip of the day for that, because it was so...
Well, thank you.
I'll tell you why.
Clip of the day.
This whole thing was bull crap. This was another dimension of the fabulous Pfizer marketing scheme.
Yes.
Let's take the extreme. Nobody's reasonable. I mean, you can be reasonable. You're not an anti-vaxxer if you don't want to take an experimental mRNA vaccine. You're against taking an experimental mRNA vaccine. That doesn't mean you're an anti-vaxxer nutcase that thinks everything's part of some grand scheme. But let's take those people and make them the norm, and make them, push them into the front, and say, okay, now do your thing. And you, even though you could be a complete stooge, a plant like they do in riot situations where you bring in some extremists from the other side to act like he's part of your organization, an Antifa guy wearing a Trump outfit, for example.
Right.
And you can use the same strategies, or I don't think they're necessarily a part of some of those subversive strategies that are brought out in the various books on how to do this. But as a marketing guy, I can see this being very advantageous to pull this, because it just sways a few people in the middle who don't want to be associated with being an anti-vaxxer. They just don't want to take an experimental. They don't want to be a guinea pig. But, well, if everyone thinks I'm going to be like this, I really don't. I take vaccines. I don't know. Maybe I'll take the vaccine. I'll give in.
What I liked is that they just threw in Robert Kennedy Jr. Threw him in there.
They're trying to get rid of that guy.
Oh, yeah. Two things about that clip. One, I cannot accept your clip of the day. That has to go to the clip custodian. That was his. Neil Jones.
Okay, Neil, you get the clip of the day.
He got the clip of the day. Two, there is now a new term to combat the anti-vax. And that is Vaxxhole.
What?
Vaxxhole. You're a Vaxxhole, man. That's someone who brags about being fully vaccinated and belittles people who aren't.
You're a Vaxxhole.
Vaxxhole. Double X. We also accept 1X as spelling, according to the Urban Dictionary.
Well, we can moan and groan and say all we want about this sort of thing. And then we had a couple of clips about the shortages, and you had some thoughts on it, and I had some thoughts on it. And, the EU is irked about the fact that they have to ship their stuff because we're doing futures purchases. This whole thing is.
By the way, about the futures, there's a little more data to that. The Netherlands had indeed, with 4 other European countries, purchased 300 million doses of the vaccine in advance, future. And it was AstraZeneca. So there's something. So it's like having futures, but they oversold they oversold the futures. And when everyone came for, hey, deliver my commodity, they didn't have it.
Well, things may be changing because they've gone out of control. I can't imagine the kind of money being pocketed. Play the clip, ramping up production.
The European Medicines Agency has granted its approval for additional production sites in Germany, the Netherlands, and Switzerland to help with the shortfall in vaccines. A new facility in Marburg, Germany, will join one in Poers, Belgium, for producing the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The active ingredient in the AstraZeneca shot will now be produced in the Dutch city of Leiden, joining 3 other facilities, and Moderna will add new manufacturing capacity in Visp, Switzerland. European regulators have also approved allowing the Pfizer vaccine to be transported and stored at lower temperatures than previously authorized. While this will reduce the lifespan of the doses, it will make it possible for pharmacists to keep the vaccines in their freezers and is expected to aid the distribution campaign.
Well, that's interesting. That's a new data point I hadn't heard. Because first it was $2 billion were spent by the U.S. government alone on the super freezers for the vaccine. Then it turned out you could just throw them pretty much in your Kenmore. But now the data is that they become less effective because they're not kept cold enough. I mean, what?
No, that's one. You have to listen to that twice. I felt this. I misunderstood it too. Okay. Which doesn't make any sense what they said.
No, let me listen to it
now
again.
They've been approved. They've been approved to keep them at lower temperatures. Yeah. I don't know how low it has to be, but they won't last as long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what's weird now.
No, I know. It doesn't make any sense.
It's like,
how does it make any sense?
Isn't there just a basic temperature when it has to be colder than that before it starts to deteriorate? That would seem scientific to me.
Yeah, if you get lower, it would extend if the higher the temperature, the quicker it deteriorates. The lower the temperature, the longer it lasts. That would be the normal way of looking at this.
Yeah.
But now they're saying if they keep it at lower temperatures, it doesn't last. What?
Hold on,
you have to play the short clip. Play it again.
Yeah, I'm going to play the whole thing again just to get that all. Hold on.
The European Medicines Agency has granted its approval for additional production sites in Germany, the Netherlands, and Switzerland to help with the shortfall in vaccines. A new facility in Marburg, Germany will join one in Poers, Belgium for producing the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The active ingredient in the AstraZeneca shot will now be produced in the Dutch city of Leiden, joining 3 other facilities, and Moderna will add new manufacturing capacity in Visp, Switzerland. European regulators have also approved allowing the Pfizer vaccine to be transported and stored at lower temperatures than previously authorized. While this will reduce the lifespan of the doses, it will make it possible for pharmacists to keep the vaccines in their freezers and is expected to aid the distribution campaign.
Okay, that's just a completely inaccurate report. Thank you for making us hear that again. She's saying it would be higher temperature, not lower.
That's right. That has to be
It must have been a mess up in the report.
Because they didn't have the facility to keep it at sub-zero temperatures they needed to. Now they can keep it in their regular old refrigerator or freezer that they have at the office, and it won't last as long, but it's still okay. Yeah, that's exactly it. You're right. They screwed up the report by deconstructing it. It's obvious that's what happened. It's the only thing that makes any sense.
I'm just seeing if I can.
It's a misreporting. And by the way, NPR.
Ha. Yeah. I'm just trying to find if there's any article on that specifically. If I increase. Okay, how about this? This is the European Union website. Okay. New manufacturing site, more flexible storage conditions. A new site has been approved for the productivity of Comirnaty, the COVID-19 Comirnaty. What the hell is this? It's a new one. Oh, Comirnaty. The COVID-19 vaccine developed by BioNTech and Pfizer. Maybe they have a different name. Are they marketing it under a different name in Europe? Comirnaty, Comirnaty. The facility, in addition to the new manufacturing facility's vaccine, has also given a positive opinion to allow transportation and storage of vials of this vaccine at temperatures between minus 25 to minus 15 degrees centigrade, i.e. the temperature of standard pharmaceutical freezers for a one-off period of 2 weeks. This is an alternative to the long-term storage of the vials at temperatures between minus 90 and minus 60. Right, so it's just full of shit. It's a warmer temperature, not a colder temperature.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's what she misreported. This is an NPR.
It's fake news! Fake news!
Fact check false.
Comirnaty. We're going to have to understand, is this they're just trying to bamboozle us. Let's face reality. Now that this Chinese vaccine is out there that actually looks like a real vaccine, this is disconcerting. No wonder China didn't have any cases.
Yeah, because they've got good vaccine. They got something that works with the actual thing in it.
Well, heaven forbid we find out about that and screw up Pfizer's fabulous marketing scheme, although they're already pocketed so much money it's fallen on the ground. This is just bad.
They have rebranded the Moderna vaccine for Europe.
I thought it was the Pfizer.
No, this is the Pfizer-BioNTech. Was it always called Maybe it is called Comirnaty. Maybe I didn't even know that. We just call it the Pfizer vaccine. Could be.
Well, again, if you're doing your marketing right, you're going to put the name of your company up there a lot, even though the brand name of the vaccine is something else.
Yeah, we like to Xerox.
So Pfizer.
That's right. We like Kleenex. We like Googling. This is the kind of branding you want.
Pfizer.
Those guys are good, man. They are good.
They are good. They're so good. It's frightening, but they're interfering with commerce. They're screwing. They're un-American. These people should probably be arrested. Although I still have high regards for their abilities, but they should probably be
I'd like to see
locked up.
I'd like to see how they play it all the way out.
They're not going to manage it. They're going to screw it up. They're going to start getting overconfident. That report from the CBC that you played, that I gave clip of the day to, is a good example of overdoing it.
Yeah.
You won. You got your money. Now back off.
Ooh. Yes, Pfizer. That's a good message you just sent there. What I'm worried about is it was very nice to hear that we have very similar people up north as to here in the United States, and I'm in touch with a lot of Dutch people. There's a huge anti-lockdown, well, they have curfew still, extended through April, as I told you, whatever the Germans do. My daughter's still in a cage, actual child in a cage in Rotterdam, and they're not shipping the toilet paper to Rotterdam. This is not good.
I'm getting toilet paper today.
What? Yeah, Tina's already on her way. I said this morning, I said, have we got toilet paper? We went to Costco. We get it. We learned we had enough when the first crisis came, but then we're like, I always want to have this around now because that's just a nice little luxury to have. Where was I going? I forget what I was saying. So
she's in cages,
right? But back to those people from the CBC report. They've already jumped over the most important thing. They're already at, well, the hackers, crackers, they're going to go hack those apps and make forgeries. I refuse. I draw the line at this passport business. I draw the line. No government's going to tell me to do that. It's a complete violation of all HIPAA. It's my body, my choice. I'm going to wear a big T-shirt with big bold letters that says "not vaccinated." Fuck off. That's basically what I'm going. That's what I'm going to have to. You cannot let go straight to. Well, we can always falsify it. No. I'm old enough to take a stand on it because who gives a shit about me?
I want to see the T-shirt.
Well, I said this. Hopefully now we'll have some examples made.
I'm not vaccinated. Fuck off.
Yeah, on the back, maybe. I'm not vaccinated, or please stand 6 feet away from me. I'm not vaccinated. Something like that. Something that says I don't give a shit about you.
I think the Vaxxhole thing has potential too.
Don't be a Vaxxhole. That's kind of confusing. Because people will think, well, what is that about, man? Is a Vaxxhole an anti-vaxxer? I don't know. We got to work on it. But in general, we have to. This is the part we've got to stop. New Yorkers are crazy.
Oh, New Yorkers, they've lost it.
Because
they have been so cowed and beaten back by the Democrat Party. I'm going to just say or someone would say the Democratic Party. It used to be called the Democrat Party, but now it's Democratic because it makes it sound more democratic when it's not.
Yeah, right.
And so it's the whole city is completely out of control.
Well, and Tina was saying, how do they want to do tourism? Because now there's some confusion. You can't get into the state without the passport. That's not true. That's not going to happen. Because we're going to have roadblocks. Check for your passport. But if you come at tourism,
Vaxport. Did you say Vaxport?
I think I said Vax Passport, but it came out Vaxport, and I kind of like that.
I like Vaxport.
Vaxport. The T-shirt, as recommended by one of the trolls, should read, "Ask me about my Vaxxhole."
I don't think so.
No, that's not good.
Yeah, maybe.
I want to thank Stephen and his wife, who said, your aside about the whole year of shows being in the National Archive is something my wife and I concur with. Preserving a rational discussion and narrative of this time is crucial. To wit, we buried a COVID time capsule with our 3 human resources back in December, containing flash drives cataloging every Rona episode of No Agenda beginning January 2020, when you first started covering the Wuhan flu, as it was rightfully being referred to at the time, even by the M5M. Up until the date, we buried it mid-December 2020, hoping to do our part to leave some sanity behind for whoever comes across it one day. See, now that's a great idea. Very good idea. I think we need to expand it through December of 2021, because this is not going to end.
Or 2022.
This is not going to end. The whole idea is it's not going to end.
No, this is what happens when greed takes over.
Yeah. Yeah. And the media, we have to remind people, many controlled by CCP, Chinese Communist Party, and certainly controlled by the pharmaceutical advertisers. They rule.
I'm thinking more pharmaceutical advertisers than the CCP.
Is there a difference? Is there a difference? Who controls the entire pharmaceutical supply chain? Where is everything made? Is there truly a difference?
India.
A lot of media.
I think it is. I think there is a difference, and I think sometimes they're counter to each other. The media doesn't care. They don't care. They're not doing their job. They haven't done real reporting for years. It seems.
No.
The more we do this show, the more you realize that these guys are just a bunch of frauds.
Let's see. We have a rather long donation segment coming up, filled with fantastic notes, actually.
I have a China clip that I think will fit in kind of with this, since we're talking about China so much. This is not being, now this is an example of what you just said. This is not being reported much, even though NPR did report it, but NPR is not as beholden to the CCP as mainstream M5M. And this is, I don't know, Dave, you know about what's going on with H&M in China?
No, I don't.
Yeah, of course not. Why would you? But listen to this tremendously horrible story about doing business with China. This is, everyone knows H&M. It's everybody who's got a clue shop there once in a while.
Sure,
and it's a great
cheap.
It's cheap but high design, very nice stuff.
Kate Moss.
It's the IKEA of clothes, kind of the way I see it.
IKEA of clothes. Wow.
But they're big, they're huge. But listen to the story. Listen to what happened to them in China.
The boycott against clothing brand H&M continues in China. The uproar started over comments from the company distancing itself from the Chinese cotton tied to allegations of forced labor. NPR's Emily Fang reports.
About 7 months ago, H&M said it was troubled that cotton farmed in China's west could be produced by those released from mass detention camps in the region. Earlier this week, the European Union, the US, Canada, and the UK banded together to put sanctions on some Chinese entities responsible for those detentions. Just days later, China criticized the Swedish clothing brand H&M for that months-old statement. Now, its products have simply disappeared from all major e-commerce sites. Taxi-hailing apps and mapping services say H&M no longer exists. And dozens of Chinese celebrities have proactively cut ties with other Western clothing brands like Adidas and Tommy Hilfiger. Emily Fang, NPR News, Beijing.
Wow, man. China doesn't mess around with the cancel cannon.
No, apparently the apps, the map apps, nope, that doesn't exist. When we say a taxi guy, I want to go to H&M. Oh, no such company.
Now, to your knowledge, does Apple not provide maps to the Chinese audience through their iPhone?
I don't know. I don't know what the map. Maybe there's only official Chinese maps. I have no idea how the mapping is done there.
It would be interesting to know. I mean, it's one thing to censor something. It's another thing to remove something from a map.
Yeah, no, it doesn't exist.
As a pilot, that feels wrong. You don't remove things from the map if they're still there. Wow. And what was the infraction again? What was the reason?
Some months and months ago, they condemned Chinese cotton that because it's being produced by slave labor. A bunch of companies did this.
Right.
H&M was out front with it.
What?
And the Chinese, no, we're not putting up with that. You're going to do business with us? You can't complain. You're out.
Is it only H&M?
Well, H&M is the big one that's being boycotted. That's getting the stories, but there are other companies like Nike and these other guys, but they don't have stores in China. H&M has a big footprint there, or did.
Did, yeah. Damn.
It's gone.
But the stores are still physically there. It's just you wouldn't know it from shopping. Wow.
I think I don't know if the stores are even still there. I mean, they may have shuttered them. I don't know. This woman was in Beijing, this Nancy Fong or whatever his name is, and you could tell if you listen to her carefully, she's being very judicious the way she tells the story, because the Chinese they're watching her.
Yeah, they got a lock on her.
But she told the story. Did tell the story. She got it out. But she was very coy about how she mentioned that she was very. The Chinese won't pick up on this, especially in English. I noticed that the Chinese speak very good English. They don't get certain subtleties, and the way she made the point of this was a comment they made a long time ago, and now they're being berated for it way after the fact. Very reminiscent of what they did to that Chinese director, who they hailed as this great Chinese, the great gift to China, the one who did the movie Nomad, which is now available. You can go watch it yourself on Hulu. Just plug it. She was a great hailed director. The next thing you know, she's been completely out. She's erased.
Wow. Canceled.
This is something she said years ago in 2013.
Yeah.
These guys don't fool around. They're not. It's not nice.
Well,
they're not nice.
And all I would say is, if you want to know the origins of cancel culture, there's your example.
That goes back to Stalin. It's very communist. Stalin used to cut people out of pictures, and then have it reshot.
That's right.
Yeah.
Huh. I have
it's cancel culture is communist.
Ooh.
It is.
Yeah. I have a related topic I'd like to sneak in before our break, because it brings together, well, not so much China as North Korea as a prop, but it kind of dawned on me, everything came together, what exactly is going to happen with the Green New Deal, with the $3 trillion infrastructure project, which is pretty much to build the Green New Deal and a bunch of Tesla charging stations. And the Snowvid Armageddon in Texas. And it came together. One of our producers sent me this video. He says, you got to look at this guy. I know him. He's no joke. His name is Sandy McDonald. He's the CEO of Spire, S-P-I-R-E. And they have a huge SPAC, which you may want to just explain real quickly how a SPAC works, because that means real money in this.
SPAC is a special access. What you do is a special access company, and or special program. I don't know what SPAC stands for. Yeah. You have to look it up.
I don't know either.
But these are here's what you do to create one or do one. This is like a faddish thing in the investment community, and you can make a lot of money real fast. And what you do is you do you generally starts off with somebody doing a reverse merger on some moribund stock this a penny stock, and you buy it up and you own this company, and you make an announcement that you're going to start buying up. You're going to do whatever leverage you can get by other people investing in your company and jacking up the price of the stock. And then you can leverage that at the bank or through some financial instrument. You go out and you're going to buy up all the electric car companies except Tesla because they're too expensive. And so then you call it the electric car company. I'm going to buy you all up corporation. And once you make the announcement, it should draw attention. And all of a sudden this penny stock goes up to like $50. And then they have the leverage and they start buying companies. It's actually most SPACs actually they do what they say, and they start buying these companies up. And then they get you have to have a really good bookkeeper, a guy who knows what he's doing, and you rig up some bullcrap company, and it's just the damnedest thing I've ever seen. And Horowitz and I do discuss it, but it's somewhat mysterious. But if you get in on the ground floor of one of these things, you can make with $10,000 investment, you can make millions.
Well, we should follow him because I think he's letting up way too much go in this about what the plan is. So his SPAC is already working on building a DC grid to move wind. Oh yeah. Oh no.
Hello, Thomas Edison.
It gets really good here. But he needs to spread some FUD on everybody first. This is George Washington University where he did the speech. So he needs to get some fear, uncertainty, and doubt about our grid, and it's all in shambles. And this goes right back to the Obama bot we talked about in the last show. It's like, oh yeah, the grid's no good here in Texas. The grid sucks. We got an infrastructure project. Get some money from Joe. We're gonna build a grid, much better grid. Texas got no grid. This guy is part of this.
The second problem that we have is a vulnerable electric system. Look at Puerto Rico today. Think about our electric system. Those of you who've read Ted Koppel's book realize there's very large threats due to cyber attacks. But there's also solar storms. We really have a threat of a solar storm, the 1 in 1,000-year solar storm, on average happens once a century. So in this century, we could have a solar storm that brought down the electric systems, not just of the U.S., but electric systems around the world. We have an immediate threat. Some people believe that the so-called hydrogen bomb that Kim Jong-un tested a year and a half ago really was designed to be a giant electromagnetic pulse bomb, which at very high exposure rates can totally destroy a large area of an electric system.
Now, just for people who aren't as old as I am, this is true. In Hawaii, telephone poles were on fire from a solar storm. I think this was 72. It's somewhere around there, early 70s. It absolutely happens. But that's not really what it is. I mean, come on. We all know that it's really North Korea.
But some of these large EMP blasts done in space could take out a very large area of the United States for electricity for months and months. And think about no gas stations. Their pumps don't work. Supermarkets run out of food in a few days. Mm-hmm. You don't have pure water.
Toilet
Think
paper.
about a world
Yep.
where people are jammed together tightly as we are in our current population. I think the biggest key to why we're in this situation is we have not dealt with the centrality of electricity power to our livelihood.
And I agree with him on this, not on the, North Korea. Yeah, of course. They're always going to do that. And I've been preaching this for as long as the show has been going, that the EMP is coming, and it never came. It stuck with the sealed indictments. But we did absolutely learn what it means to be without electricity and how central it is to your life. And within 4 days, indeed, we were out. The shelves were empty. Now, luckily, within 5 days, we had trucks coming back in and things were getting restored. But definitely, you need electricity. People have no idea. And I just went through it quite comfortably, all things considered. But this is something that presents an opportunity for a man like Sandy McDonald.
And I said something about an opportunity. What is an opportunity? An opportunity is this idea of a national grid of high voltage direct current lines basically would say that not only the building of this line itself, but our energy sources, instead of coming from places like Venezuela, Iraq, Russia, our energy sources would be internal. It means something on the order, we did some fairly crude calculations, but it's something on the order of 7 million permanent jobs that are now elsewhere to build and maintain a system like this. This solution is similar to what we learned in the 19th century with railroads, what we learned in the 20th century with interstates. That is, when you have a network, you can move energy or whatever the commodity is from any point to any other point, and you can build it robustly. The idea here is we have enough engineering talent to build a really solid system.
All right, so before I play the conclusion of this, I have two real problems. And I know a lot about electricity and RF and HF. I am by no means an expert on high voltage alternating current, high voltage direct current. We have a lot of people who are very skilled who will email me entire tomes. You don't have to. I appreciate it. I have it all. There's all kinds of pros and cons. The only thing I'm interested in is, why is this magical DC national grid not vulnerable to EMPs? Is there some magic in direct current that spares all electronic components and nothing gets fried? Do you have any?
That I know of, it'd just be another antenna.
Yeah,
it would just, whatever the wires go to, whatever they do, whatever's being transmitted on them, it's just going to be an antenna. This pulse is going to go into it, and it's going to blow up all the components at the other end.
So I don't understand why, but if he's going to use that, if that's his fear, he's going to have to, North Korea could use an EMP, solar storm coming, solar wind.
Well, maybe you can better ruggedize the
possibly. Maybe you can do it underground.
The components.
You can bury it. I don't know. So that I am.
Yeah, you can bury this all together, but
so that I'm very interested in. But the kicker is right here, and I'm going to remind you and everybody that what happened in Texas was purely greed of energy trading, Enron-like tactics, some of the same people likely, with huge futures contracts, and they were so busy making all the money and jacking the price up that they forgot to think about the actual citizens because they're not even close to them. They're trading in Europe, they're trading in Asia, they're trading our electricity. We have our own grid, which is the second part of my problem with what he says. If you indeed have some form of EMP attack, wouldn't it be better to have everything decentralized? I mean,
you mean like the old-fashioned way?
Crazy
the
thought.
Way it used to be that never used to blow up because there couldn't be a computer attack because it's hooked to a power plant that's not on the internet? I mean, something like that?
Something like that, possibly. But wait for the kicker, because his plan depends on something very important.
So here's my test question. We're at a university, and you're all going to be graded. So the test question is, arrange the following.
Don't tell me I clipped the wrong bit. Hold on a second.
What has happened, and this is from a study by Lazard,
Here we go.
Which you can have a look at. I'm putting it up on the screen, although I'm not sure everybody can read this all, but it basically says what the levelized
oh, shit. Did I clip the wrong bit? I'm going to kill myself for this.
And that was what I did our study on at the NOAA Research Lab. The problem is wind is not where the people are. You've got tremendous wind resources. The areas of high wind resources are those red areas in the center of the country. The east and the west are pretty blue. Obviously,
what is going on here is we needed to take down the Texas grid because that's where the wind power is. That's where there's room for solar. The problem, he says, is all the wind power is in the red area, middle of the country, and we need to get it to the blue areas. Could he have made it even funnier with the red and blue colors? In my mind, there's a likelihood we had to have, just let that thing collapse so that we can say the grid is no good. Texas should be part of American grid. What are you doing? Because they've got all the wind power for their stupid plan.
Well, you know, years ago when I was doing the public radio computer show, I had the father of modern wind power on the show.
Oh.
And he's the one who is responsible for all these turbines and the whole thing.
Do you remember his name?
No.
Okay.
But I do remember what he said. He said that North Dakota alone has enough wind power in reserve. There's enough wind. If you've ever been to North Dakota, you know what I'm talking about. It's windy, and it's windy everywhere, and it's windy all the time. I asked somebody about this once. How does that work that way? It's because apparently the wind comes down off of the Rockies and hits North Dakota plains and just goes crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And he says there's enough wind power in North Dakota alone. If you loaded it up,
mm-hmm.
you would power the entire grid of the entire USA.
Yeah, but not 24/7.
I think it is. It's windy at night. Mm-hmm. It's just windy all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever not windy in North Dakota. I've never been there. I've been to North Dakota twice, and I've been there. It has never not been windy.
Yeah, but it's
not a little windy.
It's still variable. You know, you can't manage a grid.
Well, I'm
with
just
variable
telling you
power.
what he said. That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
Okay. Well, so to me, this seems like the scam was complete. We've got the trillions of dollars coming up to build a DC wind-powered grid from the center of the country, who, by the way, they couldn't keep it running. Republicans, just so you know, they all screwed it up because they deregulated. No. Trump. It's all Trump. So it'll be fun watching all of this unfold in the great state of Texas. So will the mandatory vaccines. It'll be fun to watch that here. See if they
We're
can get
all
that
doomed.
done. That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, well.
I'm parched.
To me, that means it's time for...
Ah, yes, on cue, on cue.
I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon on my mind.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. And with that, I'd like to say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in the Corona craze, John C. Dvorak.
In the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning, all ships, sea boots on ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, dames and nights out there.
In the morning to the trolls in the troll room. And this is a big day for the trolls. It is a Sunday. Let's count them all. Trolls, hands up. How many do we have there? 22,085 trolls. Trolling. That's right. Hands are up. That's noagendastream.com where you can go and hang out with, there's plenty of trolls there today. Listen to live streams, which also, if it's not a live show, there's a live stream. Everyone listens to the same thing. Or you can just turn on the volume and still just chat and hang out with the trolls. There's always something going on there. And it's fun. It's fun to troll. And thanks to the troll room for handing me a couple of good one-liners today. That's been very, very good. We also have noagendasocial.com, our social network, where people still seem to be able to invite some people secretly behind my back, but we're keeping it around the 10,000. We will be purging accounts starting in the new month. I'm sorry?
We'll be doing a purge.
Yeah, we'll be doing the purge. Hey, you join all of a sudden. Who's this we business? You coming in?
We.
John's coming in to help us purge. I'd be careful.
I'm definitely coming to help you purge.
Anything on the John's block list? I don't know. But you can follow us from anywhere that you can get a Mastodon account, at least if it's not a bunch of social justice warriors. Or you can set one up yourself. It's free open source. You can set it up for your family, for your friends, for a little subset, a little no agenda group, maybe your meetup group. Here's a thought. All those local groups, why don't you all have a local server? So we can distribute this more, and we'll be talking a lot about decentralization. There's so many projects now. There's a decentralized Wikipedia, which is long overdue. That should be so much better.
Good.
Yeah, it's really necessary. So you can
I don't know anything about it.
Oh no, it's I was reading about it today. Well, there are so many people setting up social networks on blockchains. It's really too much. I must have 4 different apps I've tried out that are chat apps for your phone, 100% anonymous. It's pure blockchain. It has a lot of downside. Like you have to really exchange your public key with someone before you can chat. So it's not a great discovery mechanism. But it does work. There are several producers who communicate exclusively with me on some of those apps. But No Agenda Social it's just the place to go hang out and chat, and there's no algos. And that's the same for all of the federated Mastodon networks. So you can follow at Adam at noagendasocial.com, or you can follow at John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com. And you'll be federated with us pretty quick, and you won't miss all that much. You just won't have the cool noagendasocial.com address until we purge some more people. Now,
yes, we have a few people to thank.
No, we first have to thank our artist for episode 1332, because this was... Now, a lot of people were confused by the title of 1332, because it was Spookberg, but the actual line said in the show was something else. It wasn't Spookberg.
So you got notes saying they were confused? People were confused?
Yeah, hey, the word Spookberg was not said in the show. This is a violation. Something. Well, that's what we titled it. We liked it. It was a variation. But the art from Tonta Nail, we're just going to call it Tonta Nailed It. And Tonta nailed it again. With the Jab Trap donuts loaded with corn syrup. I mean, this was a great piece of art.
It was just nice. It was pretty. It had dimension, which is one of the things I like.
Yes, drop shadow. Mm-hmm.
And it just looked good.
It did. It really did. It was, and I keep looking at it. The Jab Trap, it's so well done. And even the little window, it was very well done. And what else did we have that we were looking at? I
want to mention a piece that was done by Marcos Garcia that I used in the newsletter, which we didn't use, and it could have been used, and it's the Falling Bidens.
Oh,
and it's a takeoff of the Madman opening scenes where the guy's falling out of the building, just in midair. And this is a bunch of falling Bidens, and it's just a gem of a piece. And I normally don't, necessarily, people know when I'm using these different pieces for the newsletter, but this piece is just gorgeous, I thought. And it could have easily been used, except it was, it's a little more.
I don't think we saw
it
specific
specific to the show.
I don't think we saw it when we were choosing the art. Did we? Was it already up there? I don't think it was up there.
Yeah, it's been up there. It goes back to 12/24, so it's pretty old.
Crap! Okay, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What were the things that we looked at but did not choose? There was a lot of. Actually, the Pfizer AstraZeneca foiled as if they were fencing each other.
Yeah, you liked that piece. I didn't care for it.
I liked it. I liked the idea, the premise. So it's a Pfizer dude and an AstraZeneca dude, and they're fencing against each other with syringes. I liked the premise. It was Spook Burb. That was the original title was Spook Burb, as in the Burbs, B-U-R-B. So we had a piece of art for that. What else? Commie radio. No, there was some weird.
I want to mention a couple of pieces that, again, I've decided I'm going to have to put together a little FAQ to tell people the same old thing we keep telling them over and over again. Don't use the COVID virus image. It's unattractive. We won't use it. Don't use anything unattractive. We won't use it. Anything profane, we're not going to use. There was another violation here. Our picture, somebody came in out, new guy came in out of the blue, had the two of us. We stopped doing that years ago.
Yeah.
We don't use our pictures. And this was, again, Marcos Garcia, the same guy who did the falling Bidens. He did this.
Oh, so he didn't know. Well, it was also a takeoff of a movie poster, but the falling Bidens was great.
Falling Bidens is good, but we don't use our images anymore. We did for like 3-4 years solid, and that we just no. And there's a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to probably put it together as a little sheet so people won't waste their time. That's what I'm concerned about. They put effort into this stuff, and it's like they should be doing stuff that gets violated instantly.
Yeah, and it's so sad to be ignored because it's too bad. Tonta nailed it again. Thank you. Great job. She is no stranger to this position.
Oh, here's the one. Oh, the one here's the art piece that we should mention. We both like the Build Back Better grid, showing just nothing but wires all over the place by Mountain J. That's her competitor.
Yeah, it missed a little dynamic somehow or some balance, but the idea was funny.
Yeah, just a million
wires going everywhere. If you're using a Podcasting 2.0 compatible app, you can find them at newpodcastapps.com. You'll see all these images that we just talked about flying by. And thank everybody for testing out the new streaming payment system on the Breeze app. It's working. And people are sending little pieces of micro payments to podcasters, and the hope is here that we can get some Satoshis to some of these artists. But yeah, long road ahead, but this test is definitely successful. Appreciate that. And as part of our time, talent, and treasure, what we like to do is thank the executive and associate executive producers of the episode who come in with the high numbers. Today being a 333 episode number brings them out, and I'm blown away by the support we're seeing here.
Well, especially from our top three guys in particular, but Joseph Carter at the top of the list from Del Rio, Tennessee, amongst the group of fabulous people from Tennessee who contribute to this show. He came up with $333.33. So he took it to the limit.
It's like a
I was almost going to put that as an option, as a joke option.
But even you wouldn't do that.
I didn't bother. I did have the 1333.30, but I didn't put 3,000 and expect anybody to check the box. So Joseph just did it.
Ugh.
And wow, okay, that is what I call a massive donor. Hey guys, he writes. to an extreme. G-U-Y-Y-Y-Y-Z-Z-Z.
If he wants to do that, he can do that.
He can do it all he wants. Hey, guys. And he's got his jingle lineup, Obama sacrifice I'm willing to make, Fauci wheeze.
I have a question. What is the Obama sacrifice I'm willing to make? I looked this morning for at least 10 minutes. I have no idea. What is that?
I vaguely remember him saying something like that.
Yeah, but we don't have any clip about him saying that.
The sacrifice I'm willing to make?
Yeah, maybe I'm not understanding what he's asking for, but
no, I think it's what Obama says. Sacrifice I'm willing. I don't know if you're going to be able to find it.
No, I looked all morning. I couldn't find it, so I don't recall it either.
Fauci wheeze, Obama, you might die.
Sometimes people think a clip that we played of Obama saying something is like it's like a jingle. It's not a clip. I don't know. The words sacrifice and willing do not show up.
Okay, I got it. I'll say, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Okay.
And then you can take it from there.
Perfect. Let me try it. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
There you go. Even better.
That's not who we are. Okay, let's read on.
Thank you for running this sanity operation or virus to counter the PSYOP or simulation that is Gitmo Nation. Please accept this 3333.33 fiat in exchange for 3 de-douchings, you'll be glad to get those, and 3 seats at the round table. Granny, librarian of White Oaks, hit me in the mouth by her granddaughter singing jingles, a round table request, assorted cannabis varieties, and glass bottle real sugar Pepsi.
Okay, so de-douching for Granny? That's how it works? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You've been de-douched.
Okay. This is cool. We got Granny.
And then it comes his wife, the smoking hot blondie locks. I think I don't know. Is it blondie? I guess so.
Yeah.
It's unusual spelling. Homeschooler of Calder Ridge. Blondie Locks giggles every time John reads a 333.33 donation. John, will you please say 333333333? Hit her in the mouth repeatedly over many road trips, or he hit her in the mouth repeatedly. I hit her in the mouth, he says. Round table request for her, sweet tea with lemon wedge and indica loaded bongs.
You've been de-douched.
Well, we didn't have to request that. That's always around.
Yeah.
No problem.
3-legged dragon, hydro gardener of Calder Ridge. I was hit in the mouth by Sir Euchre of Sandy Ridge, to whom I say we should host a smoked bacon meetup. Round table.
Sorry, I'm out of control. Yes.
Round table request: niece's liver pudding and sativa blunts.
Are these guys related to me?
You've been de-douched.
Thanks for producing the best podcast in the multiverse. Now, there seems to be a lot of drugs involved in these.
No, it's just flour.
In these things.
It's a plant, John. It's a plant.
So Joseph has got, he sends out 333. Should get a laugh out of somebody. And okay, well, he's doing well, whatever he does.
Yeah, so we got an Insta night and we got 2 Insta dames.
Yeah.
It's like a 3 for
the last one, a dame, I thought was 2 Insta nights and 1 Insta dame.
It's 3 people on the podium. That's what I remember.
Oh, yeah. Granny, his wife, and the 3-legged dragon. Okay.
So they also should all, this is, I don't think we've ever had something like this before.
No.
That I can
Well,
remember.
we hope to have more of this in the future.
All right, let me try. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
You might die.
China is asshole.
That's true.
You're throwing the karma.
Good enough.
You've got karma.
I tried.
Sir Ronald Gardner of Insane Diego. I like that. And surrounding waters in San Diego. The 1333.33. ITM, gents. Thanks for all you do to maintain our sanity, and please accept with gratitude this value for value donation. This donation will be split between my granddaughter, Sienna Mackenzie Gardner, and myself. 1,000 for Sienna's damehood and 333.33 for myself. Henceforth, Sienna will be known as Dame Sienna, Lioness of Love and Light. Please provide Sienna and her parents, Jace and Milan, with a proper de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
That's for Jace.
Oh, we got.
And then you went for Milan.
You've been de-douched.
We'll be here all the night.
Here we will.
Don't eat me, Bo Jiden. 2 shots to the head, little girl, yeah, and karma. Very sincere thank you.
Don't eat me, Bo Jiden. You're scary. So scary.
You've got karma.
Christopher Bassnett or Bassney, maybe Bassnett, in Farmington Hills, Michigan. He's in for 1333.00. $1,333. Hi, damn gents, and hey, guys. I appreciate everything you fellas do. I'm not sure I could ever really repay the value you have provided me, but here's the start. I've been a douchebag for far too long, and I can't stand it anymore. Since I'm turning the magic number on Tuesday, I had to slide this donation in. I've been listening since around the time of the BS Fukushima radiation maps.
Remember
We're
that?
all
Good
over the
times.
social media.
Good times. The fish.
Yeah,
the fish
get your iodine pills. Get your iodine pills right here. We've got your iodine pills. Or you're gonna die.
Remember Alex Jones was on the beach with a Geiger counter and like, this is coming in. It was in Los Angeles. It's coming in. We're all gonna die. Exactly.
There's some. Oh, it's hot. It's hot. That driftwood is hot.
John, be careful. We don't want you to get poisoning. Have you taken your iodine from the store? From the InfoWars store?
Pills. I've taken the iodine pills, Alex. I don't know. Okay.
All right. They're trying to kill us.
Way too long. He's gone way too long without donating. I'd like to be knighted as Sir Science Denier if the title isn't taken. Thank you for your courage.
I think
no
it's
jingles,
okay.
no karma.
I think we're okay with that.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Tony Cabrera is next on the list.
Yeah, we know Tony.
Yeah, good old Tony.
Tony. Hey, Tony.
$600.82. It's a no agenda shop profits time. Tax season has made us spend more time polishing our books than creating new products. Doesn't the IRS know math is racist? Thank you to the artists who have reached out to their winning art for the canvas prints we started offering. And thank you, John and Adam, for creating a show that delivers consistent doses of information and artist inspiration. Jingle me away with, oh my God, that is amazing. Plus Dvorak's, you won it for Christmas.
If only I could find it. It's something you said on the show.
You won it for Christmas?
It was something you said on the show, and it may have been in an end of show thing somewhere. But I'll play the oh my God, that's amazing, and then the whole point is you just say you won it for Christmas, and that's all we need. You ready?
Okay, go.
Oh my God, that is amazing!
You won it for Christmas.
Oh, uncanny, almost like the original.
Okay, that's the best I can do.
No, it's good.
Jacob.
And by the way, Tony, thank you. NoAgendaShop.com, great products.
They got great stuff. Go to NoAgendaShop.com. They do yeoman's work.
Yeah, and it's completely independent of the show. And they work with the artists and pay the artists for a royalty. They also get a part of it. It's all value for value. It's a kiretsu, they would say. It's beautiful.
And ladies, look for the pink hats.
Woo!
Jacobus Esterhausen. Lord Jacobus, not sure. In Holland Park West, Queensland, Australia, 45101. You have an email note? I would have printed it out, but my printer doesn't work.
Well, it's interesting because I have one. As far as I can tell, there's only one. Is this the very, 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 very long email that we got that you asked him to cut down? Because that's all I see.
So there's another. 45101. I'll have to look. I'll look in my email box and we'll see if we can catch it for the.
Well, hold on a second. Let me just double check. Let me just check what it says here. I just need Jakob Esterhausen. Donation 451.01. I don't have that. No, this is something else. I have not seen anything from him. If you read the next one, I'll check and double check.
Okay, Stephen K is next. He's at 334.33 from Nashville, Tennessee. Another Tennessean. Another volunteer. In the morning, Adam and John. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. It's truly invaluable to me, and I am more than happy to share some of the cash Bojiden printed for me with you in the share with you in the form of a donation of 334.33. And we encourage this behavior. I was hitting the mouth 3 years ago, and I haven't been the same since. I'd like to call out my friend, coworker, employee, and intellectual bully, Damien in Nashville, for being a huge douchebag. I'd like to credit $1 this donation to him, so now he's just sort of a douche. Start donating or I'll stop turning a blind eye on your copious OSHA violations. Wink. If you would, I'd like a de-douching for Damien. Okay. Yeah. And a Jobs Karma and a noodle gun. Stephen K. from Nashville.
You've been de-douched.
I'm gonna shoot you in the face with my noodle gun, you racist piece of shit. I got my pasta Glock locked and loaded.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Nicholas in Chicago, Illinois, 333.69. He needs a John C.D. You got Farmer Jingle, Manning Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the volatile option markets and Bitcoin going to the moon, I'm able to complete my no agenda knighthood accounting attached.
Nice.
I am a derivatives trader by day and a Bitcoin bro by night. So I would like to be known as Sir NBS, Knight of the Market Makers. NBS equals no bullshit. A nickname of mine. For the round table, I'd request venison backstrap steaks and PBRs.
Yeah, you bet.
We got plenty of PBRs.
We got PBR.
I'm an old millennial with many over-socialized and underinformed friends. Witnessing some of the vaccine euphoria among them has been hilarious with my newly shrunken amygdala thanks to no agenda. One friend of mine told me she was crying tears of joy after her first jab. Another sent a picture of his vaccine card captioned, "Let's go. Second jab done, fully vaccinated.
Vaxxhole.
Give me a effing break. This is an experimental treatment, not a cure for cancer. Although I suppose this type of reaction was exactly their intention. That's what a year of lockdown will do to the over-socialized. Anyways, shout out to the Troll Room and Nene Social. Hit me up at NBS on both. No Agenda Community has been a source of optimism, humor, and insight for me throughout the pandemic while I'm stuck in Libjo Chirac. Thank you for your courage, gentlemen, and stay safe, John. Soon to be.
Yeah, Sir MBS Knight of the Market Makers. Looking forward to seeing you on the podium.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
You've got pharma. I don't remember that. Sir Carl with a K. Just a Baron of Cuomo's International Camp of New York in Rochester. 333.33. When I heard fellow producer Dennis Caffrey give a "Who Are These Podcasts" a shout out, I knew it was time to donate. But then when JC did a live "Who Are These Podcasts" donation jingle, I decided I needed to be an executive producer. I'll take a karma and fuck cancer jingle for my father, who is currently battling bladder cancer. Yikes. Ugh. Sincerely, Sir Carl with a K, Baron of Cuomo's internment camp of New York.
You've got karma.
I'll get Kevin Armenta from Corona, California, 33333. In the morning, gentlemen, I've been listening since Adam first appeared on the... Oops, I just messed it up. Sorry, everything skipped. Here we go. In the morning, gentlemen, I've been listening as Adam first appeared on Rogan early last year. This is my first donation, so please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
I was in the line at the gas station when I received the sign to donate. Yes, this happens very often. The man in front of me bought a soda, and the total was $3.33. He then said, "Wow, it must be my lucky day. Maybe I should play the lottery and choose all threes." He then looked back at me and winked. If that wasn't a sign, we live in a simulation, I don't know. I should donate. I'm a 25-year-old from SoCal, and to hear people like you both deconstruct the news has been invaluable to my sanity. When Adam read the note from that disgruntled listener on show 1332, I completely sympathize with Adam. I remember when Trump was elected in 2016, I was in complete, utter shock. I was in college and considered myself a staunch liberal, even though I didn't pay attention to politics. Trump's election led me to the realization that 99% of M5M reporting is pure gaslighting and psychological bullying. You have a future in front of you. I just can't let myself be manipulated by these people, so I resist it with every fiber in my being. I highly recommend everyone go read The Machiavellans by James Burnham. You can download the PDF find it on the search engine, because this book perfectly describes how elites wield their power in politics. It was surreal reading this during and after the 2020 election. Please give me a noodle gun, good night, left night, and bingo, boom, shakalaka, all the love, Kevin. Thank you for your courage, Kevin. Really appreciate it.
I'm gonna shoot you in the face with my noodle gun, you racist piece of shit. I got my pasta Glock locked and loaded.
Good night, left nut.
Bingo, boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, 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 shakalaka, boom, boom.
Cody Harris is next on the list from Choctaw, Oklahoma. 333.33. Adam and John is only a piece of what I really owe you guys. Here's only a piece of what I really owe you guys. I love the show. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
Clip request. WTC7 won't go away. Amen, fist bump, and end of show.
Not quite sure what end of show is.
I don't know.
Just forgot to write it in.
What Dame Cassidy said is right. Donating makes you a better person.
WTC7 won't go away.
Amen. Fist bump.
This is the Ronak Shah from Garland, Texas, 333.33. This was the note in violation of all notes.
Yeah.
Now, this came in, and I saw you ask him to cut it down. It's, 4 pages? But I will start reading, and we'll see how far we get. Show notes, plug, and report. 333 is all the threes I can afford. In the morning, gentlemen, I apologize for the length. If it lacks value, I know the donation does not. Adam, thank you for the best audio quality in the universe. Can't believe John scoffs at your other show when your magic is needed on this other show. John sounds like a real mess over there on DH Unplugged compared to No Agenda. A slight exaggeration, but a noticeable and only negative difference. Why would you even start a note like that? I appreciate the donation, but man. Consider this a Rogan donation from your first visit, because after listening to No Agenda, I have not missed an episode or been able to digest a Rogan episode. Well, that's sad.
Okay, now we're going to stop. I'm going to put out you're not going to disagree, I'm sure. This is an edict. I don't want to see any notes from anybody complaining in any way, shape, or form about Rogan. I don't want to hear somebody saying, well, now that I hear you guys, I don't like Rogan anymore. Rogan brought you to our show. You should be thankful for that. You should probably send a note to Joe. Thanks for getting me so I could discover the No Agenda show. I don't like, and this is not the first guy who's done this.
No.
Guys going on and they all of a sudden they like our show and they don't like Rogan anymore, or they say they don't, even though I find that hard to believe, or they bitch about the fact that he's sold out or anything like that. I just don't like it. I think it's rude. And also, Rogan's show is not our show. It's a different kind of show. It's an interview show. 3 hours a day of interviews is the toughest thing in the world to do. We couldn't do that show. I wouldn't want to do that show. I've done interview shows. I don't like them. This is just, don't do that. Anybody out there who's come over from Rogan, do not complain about Rogan. I like Rogan's show. I think he does a great job. He'll have a guest on that might bore you once. So what? That's his show.
I have nothing to add, and I completely agree with you. And I appreciate you saying that. And we do thank our producer there for his support of the No Agenda show. The note was kind of a lot of that now that I look at it, honestly. But thank you very much, Ronak. We appreciate it. Here's a goat karma for you.
You've got karma.
Dame Valentine of the Bluebird Powder region in Arvada, Colorado, 333.33. This donation is in honor of my sizzling hot husband, Trevor Massey. His birthday is April 27th, but I wanted to get him the executive producer title on the one and only show 1333. He has now reached night status, accounting below. If Adam can chip in a penny.
Yeah, I think I got one some here. There it is. The big penny.
I think we've got quite a few of those left.
Yeah, we do.
He would like to be knighted as Sir Mullet of the mountain region. Can I please request for him a bullet rye, it's actually bullet, rye, Manhattan, and gummy bears galore. And if allowed, may I also, by the way, they have these big giant 1.75 liters of this rye at Costco. Dynamite.
What is this? Is it bullet rye or not?
No, it's bullet.
Bulliet?
It's got an I in there.
Ah, bulliet. Okay. Not on the spreadsheet, it didn't. Bulliet. No. Okay. All right. Well, I ordered bullet rye, so I'll have to change the order.
Well, everyone knows that people call it bullet rye.
Right, okay.
I used to call it bullet rye until I actually looked at the label. And gummy bears galore, if allowed, of course. I'd also request Saint Germain on the rocks for myself, as I forgot to make a request for my daming. Oh, okay. You are my person, Trevor, my best friend, my ride or die. 10 years and counting. Happy birthday to the love of my life who hit me in the mouth a year ago. No Agenda listens together, stays together. We say to each other at least once a month that Adam and John, you are doing God's work.
Oh.
God does God's work. We just do this show. Couples that No Agenda together do indeed stay together. May I request my husband's favorite jingles, Boogity, Boogity, Amen, Fauci Wheeze, and Sleepy Joe, the little girl version. Thank you for your courage with love and light, Dame Valentine of the Bluebird Powder region.
I can't get enough of her.
She's great.
She is really good.
I keep forgetting how funny that is. Dame G Money probably remember. She's at $333.33, and she, parts unknown, she just needs some R2D2 karma. She'll be happy.
You've got karma.
Chris Marble checks in from West Springfield, Massachusetts, 333.33. In the morning, gentlemen. First-time donation. I was hit in the mouth by Adam, not during his first, but by his second appearance on Rogan. There was an extended sequence early on in which Adam was trying to explain some new policies regarding the post office and how it tied to proposed federal digital wallet, but Rogan wouldn't be quiet about it. He was talking about how cool the trucks were in the 70s. This is another negative. No, what? I'm just going to skip all that. He says, I knew I had to check out Adam's podcast and was not disappointed. I'm sorry. It's just like, wow. No Agenda has been revelatory. Discovering the show was a true inflection point. I have not listened to a single Rogan podcast since he went exclusive to the Chinese-funded Spotify platform in December. Right. Well, John just told you why we don't like that. Anyways, I'd like to call out my boss, Gary K., as a douchebag. Douchebag. Now, I don't think he listens to the show. He's just a douchebag. I'll spare you. That's also, douchebags, aren't they supposed to be people who don't donate and not just an actual douchebag?
An actual real douchebag?
I mean, do those count? Do we do those?
Well, we've done it before because we've called people like, the head of the FBI a douchebag and other people a douchebag out of the blue. But those are public figures. I think they have to be a public figure or a listener to the show.
Who is not
to be called a douchebag.
Donating.
You just can't call some casual person a douchebag.
No,
I think it's libelous, scandalous, slander.
It's libelous. I agree. It's libelous. Anyway, he got it. No problem. I'll spare you from playing the Biden whole load Fauci wheeze. Look at that juice. Good night left nut story. Even though I had the same idea weeks ago. However, no one else thought to incorporate JCD's puts his fist around the nuts clip. Come on, producers, he says. Yes. Please de-douche me. Adios, mofo. Thank you very much.
You've been de-douched.
Thank you, Chris.
Nicholas Nikoloff in Northborough, Massachusetts, 333.33. It's been a journey. I've been following the show from show 22.
Wow.
Show 22. At least 22. This is the earliest I remembered. So my older son, Constantine, I don't know, is turning 10. I respectfully request his and his brother's Dimitar to be de-douched, for they've been listening since they were born.
You've been de-douched.
Wow.
That's a combo de-douching. Please also add Constantine, Dimitar, Hectorina, and Magdalena in the birthday list. I don't know if they're all on the list or not, but we have a huge birthday list.
I think so.
All of them have birthdays in March. Attaches the accounting for 1,000 plus. Please use this to dame my keeper, Hectorina, as Queen of Bulgaria. Now we're getting to the bottom of where these names are coming from. No jingles, no karma. If you can't, please play dogs in the staller at the end of the show.
Another one. Is that an end of show thing that I should know about?
I never heard of it.
Dogs in the stroller. I remember dogs in the stroller.
Dogs in the stroller.
Do I have that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the Jesse Coyne. Oh, wait. We had two of them. Oh, that was very disputed. I don't know which one to play. We have a lot of end of show clips already. We'll see what we can do for you.
Well, put him on the bump him to the next show. It's okay. Nicola's obviously amenable.
I think so.
Anyway, all the best, Nikola Nikoloff. Wow. That's a name that I'm going to start writing novels and use that name.
I think we missed Brian Moss. I think we skipped over him. Yeah. 333 Rancho Santa Margarita, California. And he says, jingles, got any Bitcoin, go podcasting, R2D2 Karma. John and Adam, thank you so much for your superb job of media deconstruction, OTG advice, and the occasional wine tip. I've been a listener since 2015. Over the years, I've tried to hit my family in the mouth, but was never able to succeed until now. The combo of your amygdala shrinking COVID coverage and the animated No Agenda clips.
Finally.
Also perfect for some podcasting 2.0 streaming Satoshis. Make your content easily shareable and entertaining for everyone. They kept my entire family informed and not freaked out during the pandemic. I've also started using the Breeze podcast app. Bravo on the efforts to keep podcasting cancel-proof. Yes, the sats are streaming your way. This donation brings me to knighthood. I'd like to be known as Sir Brian of Galt's Gulch, if it's not too much trouble. I think there's only one or two that are in Galt's Gulch, but I'm sure there's not too many at all. Please add deviled eggs and Diet Coke to the round table. I love the deviled eggs. The Diet Coke combo is a curious one. Love and light, stay safe, says Brian Moss.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
Go podcasting!
You've got karma.
Sir Devo, Night of the Shape-Shifting Jews. $333.30. He needs the Shape-Shifting Jews and R2D2 Karma, which seems to be very popular
today. Yeah, popular.
ITM Brothers and Mystic Crackpot and Buzzkill. Sir Devo, Night of the Shape-Shifting Jews, here to wish one and all a happy Passover.
Oh, yes, it is Passover, right.
Yeah, as I write this evening's missive, the worm moon brightly rises in celebration of the 3333 3,000th year since the enslavery in Egypt. Thus, I was compelled to resurface from my resurface. See, when I read these words, I'm thinking resurface, like you're going to put another round of pavement over this thing. But he means resurface. Should have a hyphen. From my cyber dissertation research to provide you both with some stimulus treasure of 333.30.
Nice.
It is a paltry offering compared to my eternal gratitude for your decade-plus offering of perspective, humor, and wisdom. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, John. Now go take that break you both deserve. Please play my magical shape-shifting Jew theme song and an R2D2 Karma for my research and all my dudes named Ben and Bernadette enslaved by another crappy COVID semester. All the best, Devo.
Roll up for the magical shape-shifting Jews. Step right this way. Roll up for the shape-shifting Jews.
You've got karma.
Adam Eubank in Springdale, Arkansas, 333. Even. Jingle, shut up, slave, whole load, goat stream. Did you see the juice? First time I heard John's fisting nuts rant, I almost fell out of my chair. My dad eats his nuts in exactly this fashion. Yeah. Once you start noticing it, it's pretty gross.
It's bad.
It's bad. No Agenda Karma works. My mom's shoulder surgery and subsequent physical therapy were both successful, and she's doing great. I'd like to wish my brother Alex a happy belated birthday. He turned 34 on St. Patrick's Day. You guys are the best. Thank you for your courage. Plur.
Shut up, slave.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
Oh, my gosh. Can you see that juice?
Stephen Draper in Arlington, Virginia. Wink, wink. No jingles, no karma. Gotcha.
I love that. Nairobi Dino, or Dino. What do you think? Dino or Dino? I think it's
Dino.
Nairobi Dino from Great Britain. Aberdour. Is that Ireland? Fife?
I think it's Scotland,
Fife
isn't it?
is Scotland, right. It's Fife. I think that's Scotland. Sorry. I'm not sure how I stumbled on the No Agenda back in 2016, but I am thankful I did and thankful for the many laughs and interesting discussions I have enjoyed. You are truly the greatest podcast in the universe. I have hit several people in the mouth, but even so, I need a de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
I intended to donate on my birthday this year, which was on the 14th of March, but unfortunately I was ill and ended up in the hospital. Are you sure you're from Great Britain? Because you're supposed to say in hospital. Due to an autoimmune reaction, oh brother, to the AstraZeneca vaccine. If I had a nickel for every person who's had something autoimmune related after a vaccine. I became ill around 3 hours after the injection with a severe headache, fever, metallic taste in my mouth, and pain in my chest. After 2 weeks it's horrific. After 2 weeks of increasingly feeling worse, my smoking smart wife sent me to the doctors. I ended up in the hospital within hours. While in the hospital, I was awake at 4:30 in the morning, not able to sleep, and I was listening to No Agenda's episode 1330, The Cattle List Converter. And although I was sick as a dog, I started laughing so loud at the ending song, There's No AstraZeneca in Spain, which was put to Three Dogs Night, Never Been to Spain, that a nurse came in to see if I was okay and why I was laughing. I love this story. The irony of being in the hospital due to AstraZeneca vaccine, then hearing your helpful discussions about it on the greatest podcast in the universe, then topping this stuff off where there's no AstraZeneca in Spain, I could not help but laugh. Thank you for your humor. I am home now feeling 100% and thankful to the NHS and my smoker smart wife and God that I got through this unexpected episode in my life. And I'm thankful to you both, the producers, for helping me get through it. So receive this with my appreciation and keep up the good work. Can I have a don't raf? This is a scam and we told you so on No Agenda. That is actually, I think that's isn't that a band jingle?
Yeah, that was banned based on research.
Well, we were using.
I think we can do one grandfathering in just one time. We can play it if you can find it.
I got it. Yeah.
But I will say now, anyone else who requests it will never be played.
Don't laugh. Why you are laughing?
It's a scam.
Shut up.
We told you so on No Agenda.
That's right. Band.
Butch is next. Butch Hauke, I think, in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, 333.
Home of WSQV, Susquehanna Valley. Top 40. That's bad. Sorry, I've been there. I've been there.
Apparently.
Yeah.
You're still there, it looks like. I go by Butch, not my real name, which is not Butch. I am in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Dear John and Adam, reasonably short and to the point, long-time listener, total douchebag, but that ends now, so please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
Ooh, now I feel so much better. I've put that off for way too long. Your show has been my main resource of sanity for many years, and I can't thank you both enough. Keep on keeping on. I'd like a big Lebowski. New shit has come to light. Dr. Kiki, shut up already. It's science. Then shut up, slave. And finally, a Fauci wheeze. And with that, I feel fully COVID vaccinated. Thanks, Butch.
Information, man. New shit has come to light.
Shut up already. It's science.
Shut up, slave.
Scott.
A lot of shutting up there.
Scott Vernick in Laguna Hills, California, home of the ritzy houses. 333. Some treasure, he writes, for the best podcast in the universe. And that's where he stops. Thank you, Scott. Andre Gagne, who seems to be in Canada, 333, probably in Quebec. He's from Edmonton, Alberta.
There you go.
I figured this episode would be perfect number for making my donation as I've celebrated my 33rd birthday this month. The 33rd. Always look forward to each and every show you do. One reason I find your show to be the therapy other than the obvious entertainment value is that it helps reduce time I spend in front of screens. Good. Go podcasting. I also to all the people who come out of the woodwork just to save your NAS account, No Agenda Social. If you really cared, you would have been using it. Just saying.
Right.
I was talking about the people that come out every 6 months and post hello. Jingle requests. I'd like for you, which is one of the guys on my list, by the way. I would like for you to try to dig up an oldie, if not too much effort. If you have it, I believe it's called Obama KLF Doctrine.
I have no idea. I looked for Obama, Doctrine, KLF. I mean, lots of Obama, but there's no, I don't know what that is. I can't remember. And the TARDIS, no.
I think it's no. Oh. So I think that's that. And I think it includes, I don't know. If it's too much work, I'll have magic shape-shifting Jews karma, which is funny that somebody else requested the same show. So you got the
That's
no.
I got it. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an oldie.
You've got karma.
Good one.
It's a beauty.
Yeah.
Melissa Lubenow in Cypress, Texas at 3:33. We're going long, people.
Yeah, but we're almost there.
But we got material. We were running as much funny stuff as we can. In honor of my smoking hot husband, Christoph, who takes such great care of me and our 3 human resources. He's the best dad and the most amazing husband. Oh. He introduced me to the podcast last year, and it's changed my life. Oh. Can we get a whole load and D's nuts? Also a Jobs Karma. Thanks, Melissa.
D's nuts? Another one.
Oh, D's nuts.
We've never spoken about D's nuts. Or I don't have any jingle about it.
Maybe she's thinking of the nut.
Well, I do have a shorty from that, sure.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
Then he makes a fist.
I get it. That's what she wanted.
And then he shakes his fist to try to bring a nut to the little hole. Stop.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Sir Matthew Januszewski in Chicago, 3:33. I don't have a note from him. I couldn't find a note from him. And if he has a note, we'll find it and read it. Nicholas Miller, and we can all, well, anytime Matthew wants to say something, we're glad to read it.
Of course.
Nicholas Miller in Tucker, Georgia, 3:33. And he's got a bunch of accounting numbers here. Sir Nick Knight of the Abundance Dabs and Tequila is in my spot. At Tablet, serious life karma needed. Things are good, on the cusp of great. Need that push. Terror me, please. That's what's the dog. The dog karma. Love you both.
You've got karma.
Man, the podium is going to be jammed today. This is insane.
Hopefully, an OSHA inspector will not be nearby.
I've asked them to put the extra leave into the table. Remember when your parents used to do that back in the day?
Yeah, I got tables that do that.
You still have one of those?
Yeah. Yeah. You need that if you're gonna, do a dinner party for 14 people.
Yeah, you need extra leaves.
You need extra leaves.
JP.
Sir.
I'm sorry.
You can do it. Take it.
Yeah, JP Beaulieu from Kitchener, Ontario, 25340. Interesting number. Hey, is JP Beaulieu from Kitchener, Ontario. Dans le matin, gents. First of all, please dedouche it.
You've been dedouched.
This donation of $3.33 Canadian. We have to make sure we put them in the right spot because it shows up as American cuckbucks, so we put you there. So this donation of 333.33 Canadian dollarettes finally allows me to give back to the best podcast in the universe. I discovered no agenda when Adam went on episode 1533 of the JRE podcast just before my 33rd birthday on the 15th of September. I knew I had to listen. Anyway, thank you both for your courage and great content. Quick shout out to my spicy hot girlfriend and to the 2 knights that happened to work with me. Small world. No jingles, no karma, but a big bye.
Patrick Johnson, don't call me. Richland, Washington, 250. Long-time boner. First-time donor, can I get a dedouche?
You've been dedouched.
Yikes. Here we go. 2 years ago, I lost my job, my wife, several family members, and nearly my life. Now, that's how you start a story.
That's an opening right there. Woo!
With nothing left, I decided to do what I've always dreamed of, become an independent artist. Oh, nice. Today, I announced my new business, RazorBuild.net. It's actually RazeRebuild.net.
Yeah.
It's RAZE build.net. I'm equally excited and nervous to go check it out, see what it is. And nervous to venture out this way. Can I get a stereo goat karma, business goat karma? And if all possible, a shout out and a link to my show notes. Yeah, we do that.
Yep.
For my new venture, sorry. Thank you. More contributions are coming as I grow As I grow, it says, as I grow forward.
Patrick, I looked at it. Very beautiful. It's a Shopify site, that he's selling his art on. What
kind of art are we talking about?
I'll have to look at it again because I looked at it this morning. But it's on T-shirts, mugs, etc.
Okay.
But you should look at it. It's not bad actually. Let me see. Yeah, it's very distinctive type. He also has neck gaiters, lots of skulls. He's got a mask with an ape face on it. You should take a look. Raise, rebuild. And no matter what you do, man, when you start a new business, you get massive props and karma. In fact, you need the stereo goat karma.
You've got karma.
Jamie Buell in Vista, California. So start getting $249.49. ITM, this donation is being made for my smoking hot hubby, John. Jamie. Okay, Jamie's a woman. Everybody's one of those names. Smoking hot hubby, John Buell, for his 49th birthday on March 28th. So please give him the credit. Oh, got a switcheroo here.
Oh, yes.
Credit goes to John Buell.
Got it.
He is without a doubt the best husband, father, and entrepreneur. There is.
There you go.
Trying to run a successful small business in Southern California is not for the faint of heart. He works hard so that I can stay home and educate the two human resources, indoctrinate them in Austrian economics and liberty.
Nice.
Okay. We, the Mies Society, I'm thinking of. We started listening to No Agenda when Adam appears on Tom Wood's show. Another Mies guy. The best birthday present from you guys would be the correct pronunciation of the name Mises. It's pronounced Mises.
Well, we were corrected after my appearance on the Tom Wood show, and I don't think we've done it wrong since.
I did. I just did it wrong now.
Oh.
Please put him on the birthday list.
He's on it.
We need a de-douching and some R2-D2 karma. This is a very strange show today with these coincidental requests.
I know.
You've been de-douched. You've got karma.
Yikes. She says she's grateful for all we do, and we thank her for that. David Metis in Pikeville, North Carolina.
Now we're traumatized. We're going to do everything. Metis, Pickaville, Gardner.
213.33. Could be something else. This is our last donation for this segment, I might mention. It's for anyone who's looking for the end when they fast forwarded, if they did unwisely.
Yep.
John and Adam, this is a double birthday donation for my daughter, Layla, and Medis. The birthdays were on the 25th and 18th, respectfully. We host Fun Fact Friday. This guy's donated before. I've listened to Fun Fact Friday. I think I clipped it once. Years ago.
Yes, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Fun Fact Friday?
Mm-hmm.
With Lila or Lila. It's Lila and David, which also airs on the No Agenda stream.
Here we go.
It's been added to the
Before we
stream.
start, what is your favorite toy? That's a toy and not like, your Nintendo Switch, which I guess it counts.
Remember that?
Yep.
Very cool. That's a good podcast. You were very complimentary.
Now it's on the stream, so
you were very complimentary about them.
I liked it. I thought I thought it had everything you want in a podcast for kids.
Right.
Since it's been added to the stream, we've received tremendous value from the NA tribe in many ways. Great bunch of folks you all have as producers, of course. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to the trolls. What's up, nerds? I sent you both a little something in the mail. I hope it finds you well. I haven't seen anything yet. NJNK.
Well, I can't wait. I got to go, and I go to the post office. Got to find out what that is.
Go to the post office. And that will be our final, in this case, associate executive producer for show 1333. We have a huge group of well-wishers and supporters, and this is fabulous, and we want to thank each and every one of them to an extreme.
These are the executive and associate executive producers, well-deserved today, and you can put that magic number on your next to your executive or associate executive producership. 1333, put it anywhere where credits are recognized. The show business works very well, what's left of it. So you actually look pretty good. You got a recent producership. Show me anyone else in Hollywood who has a recent executive producership. You've got it. We really appreciate you participating, and we have more people to thank in our second segment, $50 and above. Anyone who wants to continue supporting this grand experiment now in our 14th year, go to our donation site, read all about it.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And thank you all for contributing your time, your talent, and your treasure to episode 1333.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order. Shut up, Slade.
Shut up, Slade.
Now, before you do it, because it is a Sunday, and we have here we go.
Shine on, you crazy Biden.
Yeah, baby.
I got to get this right.
It's Biden Sunday, and it's a doozy.
Oh, yeah. Well, Biden did his first press conference last Thursday, our show day, of course. And he fielded 10 questions and some follow-ups.
Can I read you the email you sent to me? Biden press conference, OMG, kill me. Best ever.
Well, we heard the earlier reports on it, first part of the show with people like Todd. Comes out and talks about, it was a good press conference because there was everything's going so well.
Yeah.
And it was even worse with this first clip. This is Yamiche, who is seated right in the front row. And she just goes on and she talks about he's such a kind, great guy.
Man. He's a good man. He's a gentleman.
This is a humiliation to journalists everywhere, but let's start with that clip.
Okay. How about Yamiche?
Mr. President, you've said over and over again that immigrants shouldn't come to this country right now. This isn't the time to come. That message is not being received. Instead, the perception of you that got you elected as a moral, decent man is the reason why a lot of immigrants are coming to this country and entrusting you with unaccompanied minors.
That was probably the worst part of the whole press conference. How degrading to have to say that. I mean,
even a moral, decent man.
Even her predecessor, Gwen Ifill, who wrote the hagiography of Obama, was not like this.
No, she never was like this.
Would never do that.
She went out of her way to be neutral.
Yeah, we miss her. We miss you.
Yeah, because she kept the show on an even keel.
Yeah, and now it's busted.
Oh, it's totally busted. It's useless. Most of these clips, if you notice, 8 seconds. I don't have one clip over 30 seconds. The longest is 23, and that's
right, because everything else he said was hyperbole, repeat from campaign stump speeches.
Oh, it's terrible.
He went on for at least 10 minutes about, I'll be running, I was running, now why I ran, I'm running.
And here's, I'm going to go off from the bottom up, and here's the clip, Trump bad.
If an unaccompanied child ends up at the border, we're just going to let him starve to death and stay on the other side. No previous administration did that either, except Trump. I'm not going to do it.
I know. He let children starve on the other side.
He designed to starve them. He was a devil.
Can I just say briefly? I've been watching some of this footage. There's some pieces that we're not getting about the border. Okay. No one has ever explained the Biden let us in t-shirts. That's just annoying. No one has ever done the work. No one's ever interviewed anyone about it. I really like to know where those came from. And all the other people that you see who come from Guatemala, all South American countries, now they're at the border. They're on the Mexico side of the border. They have no luggage. Their clothes are not torn and tattered, quite the obvious. I see clean sneakers. Are these people who have traveled thousands of miles by foot? They don't have not even a sandwich.
I don't know. It seems to me they were bussed up to some point, and then
it has to be
photo op.
But they were not weary travelers. Yes, it was photo op, but it's so obvious that these people have not been on the road. So maybe they're being taken care of in Mexico. I don't know, but it's not what you'd expect, and I just can't help noticing that.
Nobody's covering it, of course, because they don't want to. Everything's politicized, including what Ted Cruz is up to right now. And I don't have the clips from Cruz, but we'll probably talk about it a little bit on the next show. Okay, onward. There's a little one here. It's kind of a combo ISO, but this is interesting. This is the Biden sit-down clip.
Please sit down. Thank you.
What? So he walks into the room, and they all stand up like he's a judge or something in a court. They never stood up for Trump.
Only to yell
at him. What are all the reporters doing standing up? He has to tell them to sit down. Well, I found this very peculiar.
I think in general we can say that the decorum of the press conference, which I think many would see as, this is how a proper press conference should be run. It was the media who were not yelling, not screaming, not back talking, not interrupting, not jumping up and down. I hope we can see the difference. Probably not.
Now, there's a lot of crazy stuff he says, and a lot of it is just like, he's just like this old, I'm surprised he doesn't use the term fiddlesticks.
It's one of my faves, fiddlesticks.
And here he is saying something. No fact checks were done on any of the crazy stuff that he said, but I have a few of the crazy stuff.
Oh, good.
A few of the crazy things.
Good.
Try this one. School water.
There's so much we can do. Look at all the schools in America. Most of you live in the Washington area now, but in your hometowns, I don't know where you're all from. How many schools where the kids can't drink the water out of the fountain?
Well,
Is the fountain turned off? Is that the reason? Or
is he referring?
Is it poison? Is it poison water in the fountains?
Is he referring to Michigan? Is that what he's referring to?
Well, that's
one.
That one.
No. Hey, by the way, if Biden ever says fiddlesticks, I'll give you $100. I will gladly give you $100.
That's a risk. That's a risk you're taking.
It's worth it. Flint, Michigan. That's where the water was. Is this just?
That's the way he makes it sound like kids are being poisoned everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's go to this. Now we got a lot of confusing little short clips, like 7-second clip. This is the 7-second root cause.
Vice President putting together a bipartisan plan of over $700 million to do the root causes of why people are leaving.
Wow.
What is to do a root cause?
Well, it's like a root canal, only you do it with a lot of people.
You want to do a root cause?
I think he missed.
What is he talking about?
Well, he missed a word. A report on the root cause of.
Vice President putting together
of course not.
A bipartisan plan of over $700 million to do the root causes of why people are leaving.
Leaving what? That's Vice President Harris, who is going to be in charge of why people are leaving.
Well, she's probably one of the reasons. Okay.
No, they're leaving South America.
Oh.
To come here. That was about immigration.
I'm going to skip the question WTF clip because that's one of the weird ones that I want to save to the end.
Okay.
Let's go to here's one of the things that really bothers me, and the media doesn't pick this up. In fact, I think we're the only ones who continually bitch about this. And this is when you use percentages instead of whole numbers. Instead of saying the place it tripled, the number of people that are leaving tripled. Or you say the number of people leaving used to be 1, now it's 3. So you use triple to make it sound like there's a lot of people leaving.
Yeah.
Or in this case, coming. Listen to this. This is percent bullshit clip.
That I'm a decent man, or however it's phrased. That, that's why they're coming, because Biden's a good guy. Truth of the matter is, nothing has changed. As many people came, 28% increase in children to the border in my administration, 31% in the last year in 2019 before the pandemic in the Trump administration.
I'm not going to even question his 31% from Trump. But what he's really saying, if you listen to it, because these are increases.
Yeah.
So the 28 is on top of the 31. It's not as though he makes it sound like Trump, there was 31% increase during Trump's. Now there's only a 28% increase with me.
Now,
the 28% increase is an increase overall of the year before, which was 31% increase. But he's trying to bullshit everybody. Okay, lapping it up.
You know, go ahead.
I just find it very offensive.
I got a note from one of our producers who works at CBP, and it's so desperate. That's Customs Border Patrol. So desperate. They sent me an internal email. Call for your assistance. Immediate staffing needed to support unaccompanied children's program in the Office of Refugee Resettlement. And so the two things I want to point out is, one, this is novel that they have to pull people away from other departments in order to handle this. So it is either we have less people working at Customs Border Patrol, or there's a lot more people trying to come in. But also the Office of Refugee Resettlement. I hate this. These are the guys, this is the outfit that has billions of dollars going to a whole slew of nondescript NGOs, non-governmental organizations. We have one here in Austin, $1 billion they get to shuttle children around. And, you know, really, this, okay, I'll just say it. I think he just did this to get children to the border to harvest them for their organs and their adrenochrome. I don't know what else to say. It all seems to be about these children. Children.
Adrenochrome only come from babies?
Nah, I think you can get it from under 6. Ummies for organs. I don't know. They're harvesting. It's like, why? Why? And to say nothing changed. Put the T-shirts on them. Something's messed up.
Yeah. Somebody knows what, but no one wants to report on it. Let's go on with, this is an interesting short 5-second clip. This is the Biden hired clip. I didn't know this.
All I know, I've been hired to solve problems, not create division.
He was hired?
Yeah. Well,
Who was he hired by?
By the American people.
We didn't hire him. We elected him.
Well, if we hire him, then we can fire him, I guess.
He's opened up a can of worms.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here's some examples of Biden just losing track. This is the classic stuff. When somebody does an impression of Biden, eventually they're going to have to incorporate this sort of talk, this getting it done, lost.
And so I'm going to say something outrageous.
Oh.
I have never been particularly poor at calculating how to get things done in the United States Senate. So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, we're going to get a lot done. And if we have to, if there's complete lockdown and chaos as a consequence of the filibuster, then we'll have to go beyond what I'm talking about.
You know, I want to hear that part. The part I want to hear again is in the middle. Now, whenever President Joe says, anyway, I mean, that's his tell that he's completely, it always comes.
Lost his train of thought.
Yeah. Or it comes before he says, my time is up. But listen to do I hear some kind of gaffing or like gasping amongst the press in that silence? Let's just listen again.
If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway,
I don't know. I think they were.
There's some. You heard something.
Yeah. It's hard to see with everyone's mask on if they were looking at shock and horror. What a banana republic display that they're taking part of in their socially distanced muzzle. Hey, the press is muzzled. Don't you see the irony, you doofuses?
Press is muzzled. This is a fact. Now, there's a thing that Dana Carvey pointed out when he's working on his Biden impression, which I think he's probably going to get because he can do these.
Is he going to do? Is he vying for the SNL slot? Is that what he's vying for?
I don't know if they're going to. Maybe. It's work.
Mm-hmm.
He says that, and I started noticing there was 2 examples in this press conference, almost the third, but the third one he failed on the third one. The example of Biden says, and there's 3 things. And then he says 1, 2,
yeah. And he'll say, and
then he never does the third one.
No, he has 1, 2, and he said second. It'll go from 1 to 2 to second.
Well, he'll do that too, but he never does this. I've got one example in one of these clips where he goes, well, there's 2 things, 1, blah, 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 blah. And then he never goes to 2. He just drifts off.
Yeah.
So let's go to Biden. This is a fact check one. This is another one that I think needs to be fact checked. This fact check what?
It's because of lack of food. It's because of gang violence. It's because of a whole range of things that when I was vice president had the same obligation to deal with unaccompanied children. I was able to get it slowed up significantly by working with the heads of state of those communities to do things like in one of the major cities, the reason people were leaving is they couldn't walk to the street because their kids were getting beat up or shot or gang violence. Well, what I was able to do is not give money to the head of state because so many are corrupt, but I was able to say, okay, you need lighting in the streets to change things? I'll put the lighting in. We got a contractor. We got the type of lighting. We paid directly to the contractor, did not go through the government. And violent crime significantly was reduced in that city. Fewer people sought to leave.
I don't believe this story.
I don't believe it for a second.
Just doesn't make any sense. All right, let's go. Here's another one where he's really off the wall.
Wait a minute. I've heard him talk about this before. Something about the electricity or turning the lights on or... I got to think about it. There was something about that. He's confused.
Okay, well, I only got 3 more of these to go. This one here's probably the longest one. This one was just a real head shaker. This is the 3 feet. We have to add 3 feet to the roadways. I'm looking out at the bay, San Francisco Bay, part of the Pacific Ocean.
You mean 3 feet in height? Purposes. 3 feet in height.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did I say?
Well, you just said add 3 feet.
Oh, add 3 feet in height. The freeway that I'm looking at down here is on at sea level. I don't know what he's talking about, but let's play. This is the Biden. This is at the end of his speech where he's starting to slur and slow down, and he throws this in.
Last point I'll make in the infrastructure, and I apologize for spending more time on it, but is that if you think about it, it's the place where we will be able to significantly increase American productivity, at the same time providing really good jobs for people. But we can't build back to what they used to be. We have to build, the global warming's already done significant damage. The roads that used to be above the water level didn't have to worry about where the drainage ditch was. Now you got to rebuild them 3 feet higher because it's not going to go back to what it was before. Only get worse unless we stop it.
Yeah. Now, in context of the full piece there, I don't think he meant to say all roads in America have to be raised 3 feet. But there's some example that he's like an old guy, where you start to mumble and drop words and you think you said it in your head. I have some of this already. That's what's going. You know what I mean?
I do too.
You say it in your head,
not like this.
Well, no, you got to be much worse if you want to be president. You got some work to do.
Okay, so I got the one more than the 2 shorties for the end. This is the Biden divide country. I think this is one of his numbering things, maybe.
Whether or not we want to work together or they decide that the way in which they want to proceed is to just decide to divide the country.
Wait, I got to hear that one again. That was good.
Whether or not we want to work together or they decide that the way in which they want to proceed is to just decide to divide the country.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, now
may I just say in general, because the mainstream M5M loves to talk about this and how politicians are dividing the country. I would like to point out that you're wrong. That that's in your own bubble with social media and cable news. The actual country is not that divided as they make it come across. People may bitch and moan about certain groups of people amongst their peers. Nothing new there. That's been done forever, whether it's sex, race, background, class. But these assholes just bring it to the forefront and make it look like, oh, it's so horrible. But if you go look at the mall, believe me, I like to go to the mall and check it out. Retail's on fire. Do you think that anyone there is, oh, there's a black person, let me walk over here. Oh, no, Asian. Oh, Island Pacifica. Ugh. No one cares. So this notion that this politician or a different, or president for that matter, can divide the nation is incredibly arrogant.
Yeah, they like to imagine these things. Okay, so let's play. I'm trying to decide which of these two should go first, but let's play this one. I thought this was funny because this is at the point where he's doing his just joking. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I kid. This is the Biden dog name clip.
What was your dog's name, kind of thing? I'm being a bit facetious, but not really.
What was that?
Well, what was your dog's name? I'm being a bit facetious, but not really.
Well, what was the context of what he was saying?
I clipped this and produced it yesterday, so I don't know. But it was just, whatever the context was, is kind of beside the point of, I'm being facetious, but not really. That's really the point I was trying to make.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
What does that mean?
He does that a lot.
Hey, Adam, I'm just joking, but not really.
Yeah, it's the boomer version of not.
Well, he's a silent generation, so
silent
don't put him in
generation.
with the boomers.
I'm sorry. He does this a lot with. I'm joking, but not really. He says that often.
What is it? Okay, this is the last clip. I'm sorry, there's so many of these little clips, but this is, try to follow the logic in this clip. This is the WTF clip, which I always say for last. And this is, he's got something to do with the question. He just meanders on this one to an extreme.
And so the question here is how we go ahead and do this, what we do. There's no easy answer.
Let's play it one more time. It's short.
And so the question here is how we go ahead and do this, what we do. There's no easy answer.
Well, the question is how we go and do this. How we go ahead and do this. How we go ahead and do this. What does how we go ahead and do this? How is that the question?
Well, I mean,
he does these crazy structures. The news media guys they sit there and mesmerized by this guy who's just making no sense.
Well, this is also not new.
It's almost though he's hypnotized these people. Anyway, that was the 1 hour long press conference in a nutshell.
Oh my goodness. That was indeed pretty much it. I mean, I went back and watched the whole thing on Friday, and what stands. I mean, I don't think anyone. Look, you and I are freaks. We go watch that stuff. We watch it for the full hour. Like we also watch the Anchorage meeting between China and the United States. The way they package it, and actually, I should have thought to do that. But the way they package this news conference on this press conference on the news is, it's like they'll give you a whole long thing about whatever they want to communicate, and then Biden going, hey, a whole load, and that's good. They just throw in a little. All they need is 5 words, and they can make it fit and make him seem coherent. But he's not at all. Here's a producer sent in this note. Had a dinner with my relative last night who was very liberal. I asked what he thought of the press conference. I thought maybe he might admit that there were some kind of cringy moments. So I was surprised when he thought it was excellent because it was a professional press conference, unlike Trump. And that's pretty much where it is.
In other words, he didn't see it.
No, of course not. No, he heard the media saying it was great, it was professional, good to have Joe back, build back better, great reset. And that's all they need to know. I was getting my hair done, my 6-week cycle. And now, so at a certain point, I'm sitting in the chair, and my hairdresser, and this is now, I do a little color because I'm getting very gray, and I want to fade into gray slowly. I want an 8-year fade. And, she gave me some coffee. I had to take off my mask because of my hearing aids and everything. They get caught. And so I'm just sitting there. She's cutting away, and I'm yapping. And she has her mask on. And I'm just looking at myself in the mirror and talking to her. And then it's time to go wash my hair. And she says, Adam, could you put your mask on? And I said, oh, holy crap. I'm sorry. I mean, I completely forgot. She said, no, I thought you weren't being a dick. And in fact, I enjoyed speaking with you for the past 30 minutes. Seeing your face was quite enjoyable, but you see what we got here in the salon. And I said, well, is there, because she has people today who have not been out of their homes. She has people who will come to her door of the salon, double mask, gloves, and only pick up the hair color that she makes. They will not come in. And this is now
like the gloves.
With the gloves. So I said, well, can you categorize these people? Is it a certain type of people, a certain type of, and she said, well, she really came down to one thing. Uber liberal, she says. I said, really? You've said that twice now. Is that the only way? It's not age. It's not class. It's not income range. No, she says they're uber liberal, and they really are deathly afraid.
Well, there's the irony.
The irony?
It's their liberal media. They're all subscribed to it. The New York Times, the Washington Post, the 3 networks.
Yeah.
And they buy into the whole thing, and it's killing them.
Yes, it is. It is. And I'd like to give you another example.
And by the way, they look like shit, these people.
They don't look great.
And they all walk like Biden.
Ooh. It's rubbing off. Huh. NPR's Planet Money. I don't listen to NPR a lot, but we know Molly, so I'll listen. She's not in this clip, actually. But I wanted to play this. They had a whole thing about, we're moving towards your Great Reset. And the stakeholder capitalism. We know capitalism is the problem. So this host, who is a colleague of Molly, I take it, she sounds young. She brings on Richard Wolff. Are you familiar with Richard Wolff, economist Richard Wolff?
The name rings a bell, but I can't visualize it.
Huge credits, all the Ivy Leagues. But he is not just any old economist. No, he is a socialist economist, and together they will explore in this clip what is wrong with capitalism and why socialism is better. Planet Money on NPR. Planet Money.
Richard Wolff is a socialist economist, like the socialist economist in the United States. And there are not many. Most economists are very, very pro-capitalism. Anyway, here's what comes after the boom and bust. Unemployment.
Every 4 to 7 years, suddenly, millions of people lose their job, independent of who they are, what they do, how well they work, how committed they are.
If everyone in society was always worried about losing their job every 4 to 7 years, Richard says no one would tolerate that system. We tolerate it, he says, because not everyone is affected. One group or another is sort of told, you're going to be the shock absorber.
We're sorry, but someone has to do it, and we can't survive as a system if that risk is felt by everybody.
This is the real flaw in capitalism, the inequality. One group that's badly affected, immigrants.
In the good times, they come in, they get a job. When the economy turns down, they're thrown out.
Here's another group, women.
Economy booming, you get a job. Economy shrinking, you go back into the home and be a homemaker.
This is what's happening right now. Women, and really women of color, lost 1 million more jobs than men during and after the COVID recession.
And here comes the one which I hope you've already guessed. African Americans in American history. You couldn't throw them out, although there were people who tried. So you made them an in-house, an inside-the-country shock absorber. What is the shock? Capitalism. And who gets fired first? The African Americans. And who has to wait until the economy is good again? The African Americans.
This part of capitalism is the systemic racism part.
All right. A collective.
Yeah, no, I know this guy. I remember him. He's written a number of books on understanding Marxism. He's a communist.
He's a commie. And the only thing I take exception to, yes, in our system, there has to be a bottom. But to racialize that makes you an asshole. What a dick. Oh, it's women. It's black women. Not just women, only black women, because capitalism hates black women. Shut up. Yes, there's a bottom. Yeah, people get screwed. Yeah, we got problems with how it works. But stop connecting that to racism. God, that pisses me off. Yes, and that's on Planet Money.
I know, this is what's the irony of
That's
this.
the crazy part, Planet Money.
Who's the producer? Who's the one that runs that operation? Planet Money is supposed to be should be pro-capitalist, not, it should be, okay, you have a guy like this, you bring on a heavy hitter, a guy who can really argue the other side, and there are some. I would not be one of them against a guy like Wolf. I don't know anyone offhand who would, but there are people that can do it. And you put him head to head and let him just go at it. And you'll see, especially if the guy's a heavy hitter, Wolf probably won't show up. I've seen this happen when I was doing that show over at Tech TV, the Silicon Spin show, where you had 4 panelists. There'd be certain No, I'm not going to argue with that guy. I'm not coming.
Really?
That's what Wolf would do. I guarantee it. He would not, if you had because he knows his enemies.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You bring a heavy hitter on to argue with him, the guy who knows how to argue with this guy, with Marxists in general, and he won't show up. He's just not going to do it.
Well, I just thought it was hilarious.
But it's ridiculous that a show like that. This is like a children's show that promotes pedophilia. That's exactly what this is like.
Thank you for putting that horrible image in my head.
What it is.
Yeah, it is. Have you noticed that when it comes to AAPI, which is the new Black and Brown community, or Asian American Pacific Islanders, that they don't talk about racism, but about anti-Asian hate? Have you noticed this?
I did, since you now mentioned it, yes, I now notice it. I didn't before.
And this is a big push by the boba liberals. We've learned so much from our AMPs, our Asian millennial producers, who continue to send in fantastic information and a lot of things to look at. And I have 3 short clips here from the Slate Gabfest podcast. And the person who's here will be introduced. She's written books. I'm sure she's very, very knowledgeable on the topic, but it's kind of fun to think about this anti-Asian hate and where it comes from and why it's in America. And here's her credentials.
We're joined by Claire Jean Kim, who's a professor of political science and Asian American studies at UC Irvine. She's working on a book, Asian Americans in an Anti-Black World, which is a great title. Claire Jean.
It's not a great title. Why is that a great title?
I don't know why it's a great title. What makes it a great title?
I don't know. Asian American Pacific Islanders in an anti-black
Americans in an anti-black world. Science and Asian American studies
anti-black
at UC Irvine.
world.
Yeah.
Tell that to Africa.
Working on a book, Asian Americans in an Anti-Black World, which is a great title. Claire Jean Smith, welcome to the Gabfest. Can you start by talking about this idea of racial triangulation and how it is important to understand what's happening with racial and class conflicts in America?
Hi, David. Thanks for having me. So you're asking me about the racial triangulation idea, and that's a theory that I advanced in a 1999 article by that name. And in that article, I was really trying to say, when we look at how Asian Americans are racialized and positioned in U.S. society, it's different than how Black people are racialized and positioned. So
Racialized. We don't hear this often. They're racialized. What is that an actual term? Can you racialize someone?
I think it is, and I think it's a Marxist usage.
Oh,
I think
why does that not
nothing but
surprise
Marxist clips?
Yeah, well, of course. Sociology, racialization, ethnicization is a political process of ascribing ethnic or racial identity. Well, that's called identity politics. It's what the left is doing. Yeah, that's interesting.
Different than how Black people are racialized and positioned. So how do we think through that difference? And I tried to postulate that, Asian Americans are triangulated vis-a-vis Blacks and whites, seen as more foreign, but also superior to Black people. So there are different axes for assessing these different groups. I've actually moved away from that theory. It seems to be taken up by some people right now, but I am moving away from that for my book, Asian Americans in an Anti-Black World, which I'm finishing up right now.
So I played this just because I thought it was odd that he would bring that up, and she seems to discredit her own theory of racial triangulation. But here's her new one.
And you're moving away from it and toward what exactly?
What I'm moving toward is I'm trying to theorize again, where are Asians positioned in U.S. society? And the theory is that most of Asian American studies as a field has focused on white supremacy and how white people push down Asian Americans or persecute them through various kinds of laws. And what I'm interested in is looking at how the racial order is
1800s.
I mean, this is a factual lie. Unless you're talking about Yale University, the white people
or
there,
Harvard,
the white people there,
where they
pushing
rousted
them down.
the Asians because they were doing too well on the tests. Get them out of here.
And this kind of blanket statement is, in fact, racist.
Or persecute them through various kinds of laws. And what I'm interested in is looking at how the racial order is structured in addition by anti-Blackness. So what happens when we think about white supremacy as pushing all non-white groups down, but anti-Blackness as lifting up all not Black groups? And that would mean Asian Americans are sort of pushed down by white supremacy, but also elevated by anti-Blackness, elevated over Black people. So that leads me to theorizing that Asian Americans have a property called not Blackness that advantages them. That is sort of like, you could think of it as a structural advantage relative to Black people, even as at the same time they have not whiteness, which is a structural disadvantage relative to whites.
Which makes it would seem to me highly complex.
Yeah, you think? This is what the university...
These two are they sitting there doing the interview while they're both masturbating? Is that what's going on?
I believe so.
Which makes it would seem to me highly complex and moving picture to try to look at this, because you're talking about two different groups as those two are changing in real time.
Exactly. It's a fluid, dynamic picture. And one of the reasons that I think this theory makes a difference, like what difference does it make how we see how Asians are positioned, is my argument is because of their not Blackness, which is attributed to them from the beginning, from the time the first Chinese come on shore in California around the gold rush.
I have never heard not Blackness. But okay.
If we think about anti-Blackness as a structural feature of U.S. society and think about the society wanting to reproduce that sort of anti-Blackness, what happens is Asian Americans are lifted up periodically. There are certain openings historically where Asian Americans are lifted up because that helps the broader society keep Black people in their place. It might be defending Jim Crow during the Cold War, and then there are other examples after that. But my point being that Asian Americans have this fluidity because that helps to sort of nail down structural anti-Blackness.
And she is a self-hating Asian, I guess. This show, this
self-loathing. Let's get that
self-loathing. Right. This show, this Slate podcast, and these people are a bunch of bigoted, racist, colorist douchebags.
This Slate?
Yeah, Slate podcast, the Gab Fest.
Is it really from Slate, the magazine?
From Slate, the magazine. Yes.
Washington Post.
Yeah.
WAPO.
There you go. WAPO, WAPO, WAPO,
of course.
WAPO, WAPO, WAPO.
WAPO, WAPO.
Another race here, white Washington Post. WAPO. White asshole paper of record. I'm missing too many letters. I'm working on it. But yeah, this is racist. This whole discussion is unnecessary. It's stupid.
Oh, no, it's designed to make it worse.
It is, yeah, it is. And again, it's the media who is trying to divide. This is a literal media division tactic. No one cares about you, lady. Well, this show does. Because what else am I going to do? What else am I going to do?
We're going to grouse.
Hey, I want to congratulate you on nailing the cicada story.
The what story?
The cicadas, the Brood 10 of the cicadas coming.
Oh yeah, Brood 10. Yeah.
The whole internet is inundated.
We're ahead of the game on this show. You know that.
Yes. Oh yeah. Bon appetit. How to cook cicadas according to 3 Richmond, Virginia chefs. This is another article. You can eat cicadas. Doesn't mean we can start calling them land shrimp. It's a southern thing. You can eat 17-year cicadas emerging in Georgia. They are using this to train us to eat the bugs.
Eat bugs.
Eat bugs, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been around since the number of cicada outbreaks. I'm older than you. You've seen a lot. I've seen more. I've never seen a moment where they're telling us to barbecue these things.
Oh, they're not saying...
People just bitching more now because of the bug eaters, all the bug eaters and all the... I think it's the reptilians, but that's just me.
Well, would you mind, since we both have an interest in cooking, you're much better than I am, but you've been doing it longer. Let's just take a look at these 3 chefs, and let's just see what they recommend. Maybe even know these chefs. I don't know. Jason Alley, owner of Comfort and Pasture, 2 of Richmond's most popular and celebrated restaurants. Will Winchowski, head chef at the vegan restaurant Ipanema. Yeah, I'm sure you know that guy. And John Seymour. So let's see. What do they recommend? I think here it is. Prepping the cicadas. He makes a cicada and monkfish sausage. We have cheese, grits, and blackened cicadas with grilled onions and peppers. And the ingredients include 30 to 40 cicadas gathered as they emerge from the ground. Remove heads, legs, and wings. And then we have the Charleston cheese grits with blackened seasoning. I mean, this is serious business. People are all into it. Are you being sick to your stomach?
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. I got you covered. John went to throw up.
Bugs. Well, I'm not eating them.
Tastes like poop. Yeah, tastes like poop.
Like poop.
No, I'm not going to eat them either.
I've never heard of a review of anyone eating one of these things. I don't know. They're pretty big.
Except I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. That's probably the only time I've seen it. Well, that was like mealworms.
Yeah.
But this has taken it far. And people are all in. It's almost as dumb. When we first saw the $7 grilled cheese in San Francisco on 2nd Street, it's that dumb. Remember that? Remember that?
It's still there, isn't it?
Of course it is. It's going gangbusters.
There's now a place called Home Room in Oakland that serves nothing but mac and cheese.
Should we do a quick little rundown of the noodle gun? Because there's some interesting stories are just a couple of quickies. The big one is Richard Stallman. As you recall, he resigned from the Free Software Foundation board after an internal email at MIT surfaced where he was not necessarily defending Jeffrey Epstein, but he took some exception with the wordage that was used. So he was asked to come back, and it looked like he was coming back, and now, an open letter signed by hundreds of people today called for Stallman to be removed again, and for the entire Free Software Foundation's board to resign. Because RMS, Mr. Richard M. Stallman, has been a dangerous force in the free software community for a long time. He has shown himself to be a misogynist, ableist, and transphobic, among other serious accusations and impropriety. We both know.
I didn't know he was an ableist.
And we both know him. This is
I know him well enough that he was, yeah. I've hung out with him a couple times.
Right. Do you recognize any of this in him? Misogynist.
The guy is an introvert.
He's an incel. if anything.
He might be an incel, but he's a very introverted, focused guy that's got only one thing on his mind, which is the software and the way it should be licensed, and that's about it. He does like pork belly, and that's about all I know.
The editor of USA Today.
And he'll get into an argument with anybody who wants to take him on with his thought. You know, he was booked. I booked him personally to come on Silicon Spin once. And he made a big fuss because if he was going to be on the show, he wanted an edict that everybody, that's why you never see him much on TV, stuff like this.
Right.
He said, okay, I'll do the show, but you have to agree that everyone on the show
doesn't wear leather. It doesn't wear leather.
No. Everyone on the show has to refer to Linux as GNU Linux.
Oh, yeah, GNU Linux.
So what, we can't just say Linux? No. If anyone, I walk off the set. He says, I'm not doing the show unless everyone agrees to say GNU Linux. And so, okay, you're not doing the show. Who the hell needs that aggravation?
Right. Yeah, that was one of those weird things that he would do. Anyway. USA Today's...
I thought he was a nice enough guy.
I always thought he was very interesting. USA Today's race and inclusion editor, Hemel Javeri, published a Medium post Friday, revealing she was fired for recklessly tweeting that mass shooters are, quote, always angry white men, amidst Boulder's massacre in Colorado that left 10 people dead. So she blamed it on white men and got fired. Finally. Although we mentioned earlier, CNN had a lower third. Oh, the guy, sure, he was brown. Sure, he was from Egypt, but he had the morality of a white man. WWE, as the World Wrestling Entertainment Enterprises, whatever it is moving to the Peacock, the big NBC streaming service. Controversial moments are being removed. I guess there's some controversy in wrestling that we are unaware of.
Oh, bro.
But my favorite must be the, what publication was this in? There is after seeing a photo of a bare-scalped Jared Leto on the set of House of Gucci, people went apeshit. And here's the headline. It's time to I'll do it again. It's time to stop letting actors with hair play bald people. That's the level we've come to. So, I mean,
all right.
Where do you go from there? Can you get any lower?
It's all over.
It is.
If you're going to buy
my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
Okay, well, let's start with, we got a few people to thank. Sir Brian Tobiason is at the top of the list from Gardner, Kansas. 133.33 as celebrating the day. Ashley Maialua in Davis, California. I hope I get that right. It looks Hawaiian, like a Hawaiian name. 133.33. Eveni Gitlin from Springville, Virginia. 133.33. Jason Babcock in Henderson, Nevada. 133.33. Lavish in Concord, California. 133.30. East Bay meetup soon. Jennifer Williams in the Litchfield Park, Arizona, 133.30. Starting a drive from Arizona to D.C. She could use some driving, karma. We'll give you that at the end.
For sure.
Nicholas Wagenfeiler in Havre de Grace, Maryland, 100. Tim DiNardo in Cedar, Minnesota, 100. Sir Selverin Knight in Exile, 7777, Silver Springs, Maryland. Jose Paredes, I'm sure it's Paredes or of some sort, in Wichita, Kansas. He's got a long note.
I just wanted to pick a little piece out of here. He said, I wanted to say, I love the show. Brings me some Saturday. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, currently in JBSA Fort Sam Houston for military training to be a 68A biomedical equipment tech. So he's masked up, stuck at the base, consequently not permitted to go off post despite a prior service trainee. My wife, 4-year-old son, and newborn daughter stayed home due to my wife having her own career, not being able to relocate with me for a year. So I miss them sorely. But the No Agenda show is like a piece of home I brought with me, and I'm hitting people in the mouth. Soldiers are always sniffing to find the BS, and I've been able to reveal it through your show. And he'll be 25. He's on the list. Thank you very much.
And Gordon Bennett. All these people are birthday people.
Yeah.
In Richmond, Virginia, $64. Andrew Walker in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 6333, also birthday. Sir Hank Scorpio of the Electrical Grid, 5510 in Cumberland, Ontario. And it's his birthday. Shout out for Sir Dwight. Ryan Kogler, 5133. Zachary Maywood, Playa del Rey in California, 5001. And the following people are $50 donors. And curiously, you have so much.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4 is all there is. And starting with Dale Fitch in Hendersonville, North Carolina. Aaron Weisgerber in Bend, Oregon. Sir Richard Gardner there in Chicago, Illinois. And Kendra Lamott in East Haven, Connecticut. And she's got a birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a birthday thing today that's unbelievable.
It's one of the longest I've ever seen. We also have of course, we have 4 Instas today, I think. Knights, dames, etc.
And we still have that one Insta in abeyance. I went back and forth with him, and he's listening now going, why aren't you guys, came in as sort of goldenrod or something. I can't remember what name he used.
I know.
But he's going to I'm going to straighten this out for him by next Thursday.
Excellent. Well, we thank these producers, and we thank all the producers who supported us in any way or fashion, especially those who come in under 50 for reasons of anonymity. But we have a lot of cool programs, subscriptions to give us a sustaining donation ongoing is a good base for us. And please consider taking a look at that. But before that, as promised, a little bit of karma. Haven't had much goat today, so let's do that.
You've got karma.
And to participate for the next show, go to
Dvorak.org/NA. It's your birthday. On No Agenda.
End of the month, here's the list. Nairobi Dino, celebrating the 14th. Adam Eubank, happy birthday to his brother Alex, 34 on March 17th. Dave Bazor, daughter Sarah, 13 on March 22nd. And his son Joshua, 22 on March 24th. Andre Gagne, celebrating. David Medus, on the 18th of March. Kendra Lamont, happy birthday to Jay Lamont, celebrated on the 24th. David Medus, I think we already got that. His daughter Layla, just in case, March 25th. Jamie Buell to her smoking hot hubby John Buell, 49 today, actually. Sir Hank Scorpio, happy birthday to Sir Dwight the Knight, also celebrating today. Jose Paredes, 25 tomorrow. And Gordon Bennett, happy birthday to her mom Catherine Bennett, celebrating on the 29th. Christopher Bassnett, 33 on the 30th. Andrew Walker, 32 on the 30th. And Dame Valentine of the Bluebird Power region to her sizzling hot husband, Trevor Massey. Nikola Nikolov says happy birthday to Konstantin, Dimitar, Ekaterina, and Magdalena. And there's Ekaterina Nikolov saying happy birthday to the Queen of Bulgaria. And the shill in the secret meeting away from John says happy birthday to his son Evan, who turns 15 on 31. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
Oh, long one. And if you thought that was long, wait until you bring out some blades for this list of people we got here. This is insane. Nice. Let's go. Granny!
Long blade for long list.
What?
Long blade for a long list.
Let me do it again. Oh, yeah. All right, up on podium, Granny, Blondie Locks, Joseph Carter, Sienna Mackenzie Gardner, Christopher Bassnett, Nicholas, Trevor Massey, Brian Moss, and Nicholas Miller. All of you have qualified for a seat here at the round table of the No Agenda Dames and Knights. I'm very proud to pronounce the KD as Dame Librarian of White Oaks, Dame Blondie Locks, homeschooler of Calder Ridge, Three-Legged Drago, the Hydro Gardener of Calder Ridge, Dame Sienna, Lioness of Love and Light, Sir Science Denier, Sir NBS, Knight of the Market Makers, Sir Mullet of the Mountain Region, Sir Brian of Galt's Gulch, Sir Nick, Knight of Abundance. And for you, we have here at the table Hookers and Blow, Renpoise and Chardonnay, Nice Liver Pudding, and Sativa Blunts. We've got assorted cannabis varieties and glass bottle real sugar Pepsi. We've got sweet tea with lemon wedge and indica loaded bongs, Nice's Liver Pudding and Sativa Blunt. And there it is again. Bouillette Rye Manhattan and Gummy Bears galore, St. Germain's on the Rock, Serious Life Karma, Venison Backstrap Steaks and PBR, and Deviled Eggs and Diet Coke. And just because of you, I'm going to throw in a couple of extra goodies, like some of those Rubenesque Women in Rosé, the Geishas and Sake, the Vodka and Vanilla, the Bong Hits and Bourbon, the Sparkling Cider and Escorts, the Ginger Ale and Gerbils, the Breast Milk and Pablum, the Beer and Blunts, the Redheads and Ryes, and the Mutton and Meat! Go to noagendanation.com/rings. Eric the Shill, after his secret meeting, excuse me, we'll hook you up and get you your ring and your sealing wax and your official certificate. Thank you for supporting the best podcast in the universe, the No Agenda Show.
Okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
No Agenda Meetups.
That's right, the No Agenda Meetups rage on. They are the only true super spreader event of love and camaraderie. There was a meetup in Memphis.
Oh, I'm not.
No, this is not Memphis. This came in late. I don't know where this is from.
Oh, I'm not going to use my NPR voice. Looking for the 8118s. I'm Dalgin here at the water's edge.
This is Colin. I don't have my mask on, but I do have my butt plug in.
Okay.
In the morning.
This is Zeke, dude named Ben, in the morning at your service and such.
Follow him, Proto. This is M. Andrew Jones.
Hey, this is Mountain J. Boogity, boogity, boogity.
This is Jim from Denver, in the morning.
Hey, this is Paul from Greeley. Even brought my smoking hot wife.
Nice.
This is Tacos. It's true.
Another meetup complete in the Spook Burbs.
And we're going to go ahead and announce the next one because John's really bad at putting them on the No Agenda Meetup. So 2 weeks, Water's Edge.
Bi-weekly.
So you can tell that was a meetup report. I hadn't edited. I did it by just I trusted it, and normally I would.
And they were drunk.
And they were drunk. Well, I could not play the 24th Street Dubliner meetup San Francisco. It was like they recorded it in the wrong end of the microphone, unfortunately. But there were some other ones, some classy, well-put-together reports. Memphis.
Hey, No Agenda Knights and Dames. This is Ty McMahon. We're here at the No Agenda Memphis meetup, which is actually a bad beer protest. And I'm here with
Luke Cumberland in the morning and the afternoon with you guys, and my trusty PBR in my hand.
Sir Nine coming at you from just up the street from Johnny Cash's first ever performance site.
Hey, it's John. Hey, kid. Want to blow up a federal building? No, I don't glow in the dark. Thanks for asking.
Hi, this is Allie. This is my first meetup, and love No Agenda.
The future Sir Maggot in the morning.
Dame Shell representing.
It's Ted O'Brien. You are what you say I am. Mirren Nukers.
And Ty McMahon, former douchebag, former CNBC producer. And we want to say, in the morning!
And since there was some Dutch in there, we might as well check out the No Agenda Lowlands meetup.
In the morning, John and Adam, this is Bam Bam from Voorburg, soon to be Dame Bam Bam. And we're at the Amygdala Shrinking Illegal The Hague meetup. In the morning, bye-bye.
Hallo Adam en John, hier is Joep uit de Netherlands. Groetjes in the morning.
In the morning, it's Ruth, the freedom fighter. I'm here with a great group of Gitmo Nation people, and we're having fun in the dunes. So see you later.
In the morning, Sir Niels Dan Oliesijk here from Gitmo Nation Lowlands, where we don't drop the T's, but we boost them a little bit up. Give some good English pronunciation.
Hi, this is Dame of the Doomsday Denies, and I also listen to Tim Pool.
Hi, John and Adam. This is Sir Stinkfinger, the plague from The Hague.
And Wouter here. We're having a great time in the dunes.
Join us in the Telegram group. Please contact BamBam75 on the Twitter, and I'll send you an invite.
In the morning!
In the morning!
John, don't forget to take your B12. Oh, this was Tim.
It's like a party!
Fuck the avondklok!
Yeah, so that's an elite. They're after curfew in the dunes of The Hague, so they were there completely illegally. Very funny one. Last one, Kawartha Meetup. Oh, they produced it.
Hey, it's Sir Richard, Knight of the Kawarthas, and we are in the Kawarthas in beautiful Peterborough, Ontario. Welcome.
I am the New Agenda server.
Lady Carolyn from Hog Story with Fletcher.
This is Pete, a douchebag experiencing enslavement. This is Joe O'Connor. In the morning, 33% at the Kawartha Meetup have their own podcasts.
This is Matt in the morning.
In the morning, John Adam, producers and trolls. This is Baron Chris of the Kawartha Highlands, Knight of the Rare Encounter. In the morning!
Just a number of the reports of the great No Agenda Meetups, which you can find out all about at noagendameetups.com. On Thursday, April 1st, not a joke. Not joking, man. The Viroqua, Wisconsin Driftless Douchebag Didgeridoo Jamboree. Woohoo! 6:30 at Liberty Bar in Viola, Wisconsin. On Friday, the meetup near SLC at Strap Tank Brewery in Lee, Utah. Also on Friday, the Houston Hackers meetup at 6 o'clock at Ninfa's Mexican Cantina. And also on Friday will be the Smoking Hot Tacos in Jackson, Madison, Mississippi at 7:30 at the Sombra Mexican Kitchen. And then we have a whole bunch of meetups coming in April. I'll just give you some locations. Seoul, Brooklyn, North Central Indiana, Clinton, Wisconsin, Grant Pass, Oregon, Anchorage, Alaska, Michigan Local 1, Philly, PA, Memphis, Local 404, Atlanta, Sydney, Australia, Kansas City, Missouri, Chicago, Illinois, Myrtle Beach, Florida, Boston, Nisswa, Minnesota, Charleston, South Carolina, Local 919, Durham, North Carolina, and Rhode Island. That's just what's coming up in April and May. No Agenda Meetups. It's a great place to meet people who you will otherwise never meet, but you'll have something in common. No triggering conversation. We love to hang out with each other. And it's very interesting to see what a diverse crowd the No Agenda Gitmo Nation is made up of. NoAgendaMeetups.com. It's like a party.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
Like a party. Hey, how about some end of show ISOs? We got an ISO?
I only have two.
Okay, what you got?
Have the Biden sit down. You can play that again, see if it's appropriate.
Yeah. Okay, let me just put it in here. Okay.
Please sit down. Thank you.
Hey, Mumbles.
Yeah.
Desperate.
Okay.
What a desperate act.
You know, I actually got one from Joe as well. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me boost it a little bit.
I mean, this is gigantic.
I kind of like that one. And then the only other...
I thought Desperate Act was good because it reflects the show.
Ooh. Okay. Well, that's...
What a desperate act. Well, it's a little late to get this kind of feedback.
All right, Desperate Act.
Oh, that's good. That's a nice combo.
You play both of them?
Yeah, let's do that.
That does work, doesn't it? Okay, so let's just check it for quality control.
What a desperate act. Well, it's a little late to get this kind of feedback.
It's rather long for end of show. I think we just do Desperate Act. I think that's good. It's too long.
I like them both.
Okay, I'll do whatever you want. I'll make you happy.
No, we had, yeah.
Yes. You're up.
Oh, nothing. No.
We had what?
I nothing. No, I'm just drifted like I did a Biden. Sorry.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal. 3 things. 1, whatever.
I was reading a New York Times article. They're still trying to go after podcasting. Have you seen? I got to send this to you.
This is a desperate act.
Headline: on Google Podcasts, a buffet of hate.
Yeah, no, I saw this. I just cracked up. Buffet of hate.
A buffet of hate. And they keep saying, who's moderating this? Someone has to moderate these podcasts. This has to be moderated.
That's stupid?
Yes. Yeah, they are. Well, they'll say, like, they talk about platforms, like the Google Podcast platform. It's not a platform. You know, the Apple Podcast platform. It's hilarious. Many provocative podcasts, including several hosted by fringe and far-right figures, exist on nearly all the platforms. But the decision to ban Alex Jones signaled a new willingness among leading services to take action against content they considered beyond the pale, which is a legal term. Beyond the pale, I think, is a legal term.
You have to hold your finger up in the air when you say that.
Beyond the pale. Oh, my goodness. I love it. 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 It's the funniest thing. Keep going. Go podcasting, douchebags. Is that it?
I think so. I think we're through.
I think we've done okay, actually. I think we, it'll be a 4-hour show by the time the end of shows are done.
Longer, yeah. Well, any other clips can move easily.
Yeah. Let me take a quick look what we have next on noagendastream.com. Sir Gene Speaks, episode 25. That's actually quite good. I listened to that yesterday as he reviews a lot of the Podcasting 2.0 apps. And he's a tough reviewer. I'll tell you that. End of show. We've got Sir Dave from Dimension B. We've got Jesse Coy Nelson. Love to see him back on a regular basis. And classic, beautiful work from the one and only Tom Starkweather there in New York City. I, however, am in Austin, Texas. In fact, in Opportunity Zone 33 here in the capital of the Drone Star State. It's FEMA region number 6 on the governmental maps if you're looking for it. In the morning, everybody, I am Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's a nice sunny day, it seems to be warming up. We got a warming trend, which makes it even nicer to wear a stupid mask. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday with another deconstructing episode of the best podcast in the universe. Until then, remember us at Dvorak.org/today. And adios, mofos! And such. Hey, man, I'm off the grid. Look at my cool necklace. When Google goes out, Gmail, Google Docs, Drive, YouTube, when AWS goes down, I start to get suspicious of stuff happening. Here's my question. Why only Pornhub? Here's my question. Why only Pornhub? They immediately set to work, deleted 60% of their videos which were deemed illegitimate. There are plenty of other porn sites that do transactions and take credit cards. Why only Pornhub? Why?
So you're telling me, I'm just reading between the lines, that your credit card was stolen from Pornhub?
Well, what I was trying to get to is that Hunter Biden had been uploading his personal porn videos to Pornhub. And I have a feeling that there needed to be a purge to make sure that none of other things that he may have been involved with surfaced to the top on Pornhub. These are the things that I start to look at. It's like, oh, really? We have solar winds happening. Amazon goes down. We have Google, multiple services going down. And then Pornhub has to, as only company, has to purge a lot of their content. Well, you tell me there's something not going on.
Krispy Kreme is the latest to offer an incentive for Americans to get vaccinated. The chain offering up free glazed donuts to anyone who shows their vaccination card. You can cash in on this offer at any location at any time.
Former President Donald Trump is urging all Americans to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. He tells Fox News it is, quote, a safe vaccine and, quote, something that works.
I would recommend it, and I would recommend it to a lot of people that don't want to get it, and a lot of those people voted for me.
I am thrilled to report that the FDA has authorized the Pfizer vaccine. We have given Pfizer and other companies a great deal of money, hoping this would be the outcome. Pfizer and Moderna have announced their vaccine is approximately 95% effective, and it has now passed the gold standard of safety.
If anything goes wrong with the vaccine, the drug makers that produce them aren't responsible.
This is a remarkable circumstance. It's certainly not like anything anybody's ever seen before.
That means that companies like Pfizer and Moderna have total immunity against lawsuits related to injuries resulting from taking the COVID vaccines. Meanwhile, employers are legally allowed to require employees to get immunized against the virus.
Stick your poison vaccines up your ass. You can stick your poison vaccines up your ass. You can stick your poison vaccines. Stick your poison vaccines. Stick your poison vaccines up your ass. Stick it with your 99%. Stick it with your 99%. Stick it with your 99%.
I will commit to transparency, and as soon as I am in a position to be able to implement what we're doing right now, we have to come together. My predecessor needed to. My predecessor. Oh, God, I miss him. Anyway, we're going to get a lot done. And generically speaking, all of you said, no, you can't do that. Look like Jim Eagle. Well, I've not been able to unite the Congress, but I've been uniting the country based on the polling data. So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA. What a desperate act.
Well, it's a little late to get this kind of feedback.